this morning, catastrophic failure, major intelligence breakdown before Bondi's deadly massacre, how the alleged attackers fell through the cracks.
Breaking news, new allegations against Andrew Mountbatten Windsor involving a second woman as police investigations continue. Happening
now inside the enhanced games. World-class athletes descend on Vegas, competing with the help of banned substances.
New overnight, Great Scott. Pendlebury makes history, breaking AFL's all-time games record.
The rise of Stacey face, from button noses to big eyes, how AI is warping female beauty standards.
Plus, is it time to renovate or wait? Rising prices, tighter supplies, new advice for the best time to build.
And can you hear the thunder? Men at Work take centre stage on Weekend Sunrise this Sunday, the 24th of May, 2026.
Live from Studio 52, this is Weekend Sunrise with Larry Emdur and Monique Wright.
He came back for day 2 after 11-year hiatus.
Rode my camel back in, like a rock star. Camel parking, it said, where it used to say Woodwood, now it says camel.
Okay, for anyone who wasn't watching yesterday, Larry rode a camel. That would have seemed quite out of context for anyone. I rode my camel in.
A dinosaur on a camel yesterday. It was interesting. Yeah. You've taken my. You've taken. Oh, look, here it is. We're actually, the magic of television. There I go.
Yeah, look. I mean, I thought you looked really hot.
How's your saddle after being in that saddle? Is it all right? Because it can be.
Yes. You had to wash the black jeans.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because they smelled of camel.
Well, there were some other things too, but yeah.
There were 7 years of not being washed and camel.
Exactly. All right, well, thank you.
Nice
Thank you for being back. And thank you for your company this morning. Now, first up, there are claims this morning that Australia's spy agency wasn't told about the overseas travel taken by the alleged Bondi attackers in the lead-up to the massacre. Let's go live now to Nats Levy, who is in Bondi for us. Now, Nats, what did ASIO want to know?
Well, Mon, an investigation into the Bondi terror attack has revealed an intelligence failure and communication breakdown amongst our top agencies, our security agencies here in Australia. Now, it can be revealed that ASIO, the top spy agency, interviewed the Akrams, the pair that killed 15 people here in Bondi in 2019. After this interview, they demanded that a travel alert be put on the pair, as well as their file reinvestigated if they were known to associate with Islamist and extremist organisations. Now, it can be revealed that in 2022 the pair travelled to Uzbekistan before trying to go on foot into Afghanistan, a known terror hotspot. Now, it can also be revealed that though this travel alert was put on place, it was put on place for the first port and not the final destination of the pair. Now, we know 1 month before the terror attack, the pair travelled to Mindanao in southern Philippines, another known hotspot for Islamist and extremist activity. And we know that this security information was not passed on, though known by Border Force and the AFP. It wasn't passed on to the spy agency or the New South Wales Police. So certainly an intelligence and communication breakdown that will be questioned and looked into when the Royal Commission recommences tomorrow, Mon.
All right, Nats, thank you. Here's Larry.
Mon, thank you. Overseas for you now. Police investigating former Royal Andrew Mountbatten Windsor are looking into a new claim involving a second woman. Live to Isabel Mullen now in London. Izzy, good morning from here. What do we know about this new allegation?
Yeah, good morning, Larry. Look, this is the latest development in the saga surrounding former Prince Andrew, who is now accused of acting inappropriately towards a woman at the Royal Ascot races back in 2002. The saga and scandals surrounding the King's brother only appearing to deepen. We understand the late Queen Elizabeth, was also present at that race meet. It was her Golden Jubilee year. It is unclear whether this allegation or complaint was made to police at the time or whether it is a new complaint, but we understand it is forming part of that investigation into those allegations of misconduct in public office and sexual offences that Andrew is facing following his arrest back in February on his birthday. We should stress he has always maintained he's done nothing wrong. Larry.
All right, Izzy, thank you very much for that. And with the rest of today's top stories, here's Sal.
Good morning. Police in Melbourne are hunting for 3 masked offenders after a suspicious fire at Braybrook this morning. They allegedly set fire to 2 cars just after 3 a.m, which spread to a nearby property. Both vehicles were destroyed in the blaze. 2 people inside the house weren't injured, but police are at the scene and are appealing for anyone with information today to come forward. US President Donald Trump says he's getting closer to a deal with Iran. Officials in Tehran agree progress has been made in the past week. The main sticking point remains Iran's access to nuclear weapons. President Trump insists he'll only sign a deal that prevents that from happening. Meantime, drivers are being warned there is still the potential for fuel rationing unless the war in Iran ends soon. Experts say global demand for fuel is likely to increase in coming months. The International Energy Agency says that could see the oil market hit the red zone in late July, early August, unless the war ends.
I'm not going to provide a commentary on Donald Trump and other players. We want the war to end.
Australia has 43 days of petrol at the moment in reserve and 38 days worth of diesel. The hazardous surf conditions on the Gold and Sunshine Coast in Queensland are expected to last a few more days. All Gold Coast beaches were closed yesterday, but it didn't stop some wanting to ride some of the biggest waves of the year. Waves up to 8.6 metres were recorded off North Stradbroke Island. Winds are expected to ease today, but dangerous surf is likely to last a bit longer. Overseas, a toxic chemical leak in California has forced tens of thousands of people out of their homes. Emergency crews have been working to stop the leak of highly volatile chemicals, but without success. Temperatures inside the tank are continuing to rise. More than 40,000 people have been ordered to leave their homes in the Orange County until the emergency's over. A large-scale rescue operation continues in northern China after one of the country's worst mine disasters. At least 82 people were killed in a gas explosion at a coal mine yesterday. More than 100 others are being treated in hospital. Well, history was made in the AFL last night with Collingwood's Scott Pendlebury setting an all-time games record. Let's go live to Hope Wilson in Melbourne this morning. Hello to you, Hope. Gosh, it was a big night for the Pies legend.
Sal, a moment that'll be etched in footy folklore. There were quite literally fireworks at the MCG as Scott Pendlebury broke the AFL record, running out for his 433rd game. It was certainly an incredible feat. More than 90,000 fans here at the MCG to witness it. Now, there are few secrets left in footy these days. We knew Scott Pendlebury was going to wear a gold number 10 on the back of his jumper. What we didn't know, and what was the surprise for those fans, was that every single Pies player had their numbers in gold on the back of their jumper. Now, the 10-minute mark of play, it seemingly stopped and fans were on their feet waving those SP433 banners to celebrate the milestone man. He even remarked at the end of the game that 4 + 3 + 3 equals 10. And to top it all off, of course, for footy's Mr. Perfect, Collingwood won by 10 points. It has been an incredible career so far. The boy from Sale, who was actually originally focused on basketball, drafted in 2006 to the moment yesterday. Take a listen.
It's weird. It feels like it's been an eternity, but it's gone quick at the same time. And I thought I was playing basketball at one stage there when I threw the ball out of the pack, but the umpires are on me, so they should have let that one slip. But no, it's been a hell of a ride, and there's still more in the tank though.
And that last comment will be music to the ears of Pies fans. There is still more in the tank. He's going to play for as long as he can. He said last night he's exhausted, but he'll be up this morning and doing his routine ice bath on this very chilly morning.
Ooh, sounds fun. All right, thanks for that, Hope Wilson there. I do like the fact that even Pendlebury himself has acknowledged the attention a little bit over the top. He said, I was doing some shopping yesterday in Elwood and they clapped me when I walked out and I was holding a pumpkin. I was getting clapped for buying a pumpkin. It's a bit strange, but deserved. Amazing. Like 433 games. Yes, you can. I'll carry a pumpkin. You could clap me.
Yeah, I will. Although
There
you're
first.
not. Penno.
Yeah, I haven't done anything. No records over here.
Does not everyone get clapped when they go to the shops?
Well, I don't always buy a pumpkin. You know, the fact that you always have a pumpkin is why that happens. Thank you.
It's a regular Tuesday for Larry Emdur.
Exactly. Everyone just applauds him as he walks in the door.
I think booed is the word we're looking for.
No. Stay with us ahead for you on Weekend Sunrise. Carlton continue their unbeaten start to life under a new head coach.
Plus in the end.
And Sam Payne has your weather forecast live this morning from the Balmoral Burn in Sydney. Good morning. Have a look at this shot of the Harbour Bridge in Sydney this morning. It has been bathed in fog all morning. It's starting to clear though, looking for a top of 22 degrees. Still such a beautiful city. All right, let's get some sport news now with who else but our Sporto Laz.
My fog is also starting to clear, Mon. I did such a great job on this sports thing yesterday that here I am again. And in the AFL, Carlton remain unbeaten since they parted ways with Michael Voss. The Blues cruised past Port Adelaide by 34 points last night, sealing back-to-back wins under caretaker coach Josh Fraser.
It's fun winning. Yeah, it's fun winning. I was really happy with tonight's performance. I thought we were able to consolidate some things that we went to work on during the week.
Yeah, Geelong defeated the Swans by 27 points, handing Sydney their second loss of the season. Collingwood's 10-point win over West Coast was soured by a knee injury to forward Jamie Elliott. And North Melbourne stunned Gold Coast on the siren by 6 points. In the NRL, meantime, the Sea Eagles continue to soar under interim coach Kieran Foran.
Look, I think the performances that he's put in over the past month have been exceptional. He's been near our best player on the field.
Yeah, the Dragons remain winless at the bottom of the table through 11 matches after a 30-12 defeat to the Warriors. Well, former Sydney FC manager Steve Corica has led Auckland FC to a maiden A-League crown. A deflected strike from distance was enough to seal a 1-0 win over the Sky Blues in last night's grand final. Corica leading the Kiwis to glory less than 3 years after he was sacked by Sydney.
I love winning, and I wanted these boys to put on a show tonight. Obviously nice to win against Sydney as well. There's a lot of pressure going into the game.
Yeah, in just their second season, Auckland are the first non-Australian side to win the title. All right, let's check your weather now. Sam Payne is at Sydney's Balmoral Burn. Hey, Sam.
Larry, how are you? How is this? Cloudy morning here in Balmoral, but the energy is very high. There's officials. Listen to this music. This is what's revving us up for today because of this. Awarba Street. It's one of the steepest streets in Sydney, 420 metres. Talk about a calf burn. Right up this hill, there'll be more than 20 races today, all ages. Anyone is welcome, raising money for charity. I'll have more details about that, but first let's take a look at the weather.
Weekend Sunrise weather brought to you by Zaraffa's Coffee. Start your morning with Australia's leading specialty coffee brand, celebrating 30 years. Your moment, your Zaraffa's.
Brisbane, possible showers 25. Sydney, shower or two 22. Chance of rain for Canberra 18. Melbourne, cloudy 18. Hobart, mostly cloudy 18. Rain for Adelaide 18. Perth, mostly sunny 21. Sunny for Broome 29. Darwin, mostly sunny 31. And possible showers for Alice Springs 18. So today, it's the 25th year of the Balmoral Burn, raising money for the Humpty Dumpty Foundation and sick kids. But as we've discussed, this is the hill, Awarba Street. It's going to be a calf burn. It is a tiny bit wet. I can feel the dew, but it's going to be exciting. As I said, all ages, I'm going to be pumping their calves up this hill all day. I might be joining in a race. We'll have to find out. I'll check in with you guys in a bit.
That is deceiving, that hill. It is horrific. Have you run up that hill before?
I've rolled down it after a big dinner, but I've never done the back up. I've Ubered up. I remember the Uber going.
Yeah, you'll definitely feel the dew there. If you're rolling in all of it. I think it might actually be rain from overnight. All right, thank you very much, Sam Payne. Check in with you in half an hour. Ahead for you on Weekend Sunrise, the controversial enhanced games begin. So just how safe are the doping games in Las Vegas?
Plus, the PM gets emotional while he got teary while defending his tax reforms.
And the rise of Stacey Face, the advice for parents if their teen daughters are taking beauty to the extreme.
Welcome back. The controversial Enhanced Games kick off today in Vegas, where doping is not only allowed, but it's encouraged.
Now, joining us live from the stadium, in fact, it's our first look inside the stadium, is US correspondent Rob Scott. Good morning to you, Rob. Just set the tone for us. You've covered really big sporting events in the past, Super Bowl, the Olympics. Is the feeling similar to one of those sporting events?
Yeah, morning, Mon. Kind of. I mean, it has that same sort of anticipation, that excitement that is building ahead of the start of the competition. And I know in terms of the athletes, they are really, really excited. James Magnussen, the Australian Olympic swimmer, who's become the face of this Games, I spoke to him here a short time ago, and he recounted a little anecdote. He said the last time he swam for Australia was 2018 at the Commonwealth Games, and he says there was a clear moment when he was on those blocks looking around going, this is the last time I'm going to swim in front of a crowd. And here he is 8 years later in possibly the best shape of his life, which he says is a complete dream for him now to be able to relive that in front of a new crowd. About 2,500 invited guests here tomorrow, tens of millions more watching online around the world. So yeah, a lot of excitement, anticipation, but of course lots of concerns around what this whole event stands for.
Rob, the critics, and there are many, what are the athletes saying to them? How are they answering what the critics are saying?
Yeah, well, the critics have slammed this. They say that this is a dangerous sideshow, that it's a gimmick, moronic, that it's putting the long-term health of these athletes in jeopardy. But speaking to some of these competitors, they say that, look, they have never felt better. They are recovering quicker. They are looking the best they've ever looked. They are swimming faster, running faster, lifting more. And when I said, well, what about the long-term health effects? James Magnussen, for instance, said that, look, if there was going to be any long-term effects, I would have expected to have some short-term side effects that would point to the fact that, you know, things in my body aren't agreeing with these drugs. He says so far he has had none of that. But yeah, it's that long-term thing that we're not really sure about. What's this going to do to their organs later on in life? But look, these drugs that these athletes are on, they're all approved by America's Food and Drug Administration. They're not black market, they're not underground. They're all approved for medical use, just not for sporting use.
What are the Games organisers saying is the point of it?
Yeah, well, actually, it was an Australian entrepreneur by the name of Aaron D'Souza who came up with this whole concept when he was in the gym looking at some guys in the mirror discussing their enhancement regimes. And so he says the point of this is to unlock human potential, to have a competition without limits. They say that, look, cheating is rife through all sports and the testing regimes are just not up to scratch. So this is just taking these drugs more and more dangerous. So why not bring it out of the shadows, properly implement this with drugs that are approved by the Food and Drug Administration, administered under strict protocols, and see what's capable. And they are expecting there to be several world records that are broken here tomorrow. And there is a huge financial impetus for these athletes. They get a very generous base salary, and if they break a world record, for instance in the 100-metre sprint, they get a 1.4 million Australian dollar bonus. So lots of money involved in this. We're going to have billionaires here in the stadium tomorrow, a whole heap of celebrities invited as well. So, you know, what better place for Vegas to host an event like this, a place that's known for pushing boundaries and for huge entertainment. It's perfect, really.
Yeah, first time performance-enhancing drugs have been used in Vegas, apparently, too. You don't see that every day over there. Rob, thank you.
Thanks, Rob. All right, still to come this morning, hazardous surf conditions on the Goldie. Georgia Costi is live with the very latest. Hi, Georgia.
Well, a low in the Tasman Sea is continuing to bring these really rough and dangerous conditions to our coastline. So will beaches be shut again today? We'll have all those details up next.
Plus, record broken, how the Pies celebrated Scott Pendlebury's major milestone at the G.
And hello to you, Melbourne. Some showers are forecast for you today, a top of 18 degrees in Sydney. Don't go anywhere. We're back right after this.
And welcome back. Plenty more to come for you this morning, including a budgie showdown. We're live to the Aussie budgie breeders for the national competition on the Gold Coast, just when I thought the camel thing couldn't get any better.
No, well, Larry insisted, actually, because he knew that the championships was happening and said, if I'm coming in, I can't be there, we want you to cover it extensively. So we're going into rolling coverage, I believe.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome. Right now, though, it's time for the news. Here's Sal.
We begin with breaking news this morning from Brisbane. Police have shot dead a man in Narangba Officers were called to a domestic violence dispute just after midnight. When they arrived, they were confronted by a man who was armed with a gun and making threats. Officers fired a shot, striking the man. He died at the scene. An independent investigation is now underway. There are new claims of failures in Australia's intelligence networks involving the alleged Bondi terror attackers. It's claimed ASIO had requested travel alerts be placed on Naveed and Sajid Akram in 2019 and for it to be notified if they associated with extremists. News Corp's reporting the pair travelled to Uzbekistan in late 2022 or early 2023. But Border Force didn't pass on the information to ASIO or New South Wales Police. It's claimed spy agencies may have revisited their assessment of the pair if it was aware of their travel to Uzbekistan and the Philippines months prior to the deadly attack. 3 masked offenders have torched 2 cars outside a home in Melbourne. Emergency crews were called to a house in Braybrook earlier this morning. 2 cars have been set alight. Flames damaged a nearby home as well. People inside the property weren't injured. Police are treating it as suspicious. The mother of a man killed in a terrifying head-on collision is calling for a full investigation into the crash. Seamus Dugan was on his way home in an Uber after celebrating his birthday when the car he was in was hit at high speed. 3 people were killed instantly in the crash in Sydney's south early yesterday, including the driver of the speeding Audi. Locals say there have been multiple crashes in the area and want a permanent speed camera installed. 2 people have been taken to hospital after a 3-car collision in Sydney's Inner West late last night. A taxi driver was among those treated by paramedics at the scene. Police are investigating the cause of the crash. Hazardous surf conditions on the Gold and Sunshine Coast are continuing. Lifeguards urging people to take note of warnings. Let's go live to Georgia Costi on the Gold Coast. Georgia, how are conditions looking there?
Well, Sally, it's still looking really rough and dangerous for what is now the 3rd day in a row. And the reason for all of this is because we still have that low in the Tasman Sea, but it's really static and slow moving. And that is why these dangerous conditions are continuing to linger. Overnight, we still saw a lot of decent wave heights recorded between Tweed Heads and the Gold Coast. Offshore waves were between 6 and 7 metres, onshore well over 3 metres. And we're still seeing those really strong wind gusts of about 35 knots as well. Now, yesterday, Gold Coast City Council lifeguards made the decision to shut the beaches because it was simply too dangerous for swimmers. No decision has been made just yet, but Sally, this system is expected to stick around until at least Tuesday, so it is likely they'll make that same decision today, but we'll bring you that once we have it.
Oh, and blue skies though behind you. It's very deceiving. All right, thanks for that, Georgia Costi there. Well, scientists in the UK are racing against the clock to develop a vaccine to tackle the Ebola emergency. The development comes as the World Health Organization raises the public health risk to very high in the Democratic Republic of Congo. A Red Cross volunteer working in the country is one of the latest people to die from Ebola. More than 170 people have now died. There were another 700 suspected cases. One of the world's most controversial sporting events is about to start in Las Vegas. The Enhanced Games will see 42 world-class athletes competing, with most taking performance-enhancing drugs. They include steroids, peptides and hormones, all taken under medical supervision. Aussie swimmer James Magnuson is among those competing.
I believe this is the future of sport in many ways.
Critics say it's putting the health of athletes at risk and is seeking to normalise cheating. Anyone who breaks a world record stands to win $1.4 million. All right, let's go to Larry. He's got your sport.
Thank you, Sal. In the AFL, 38-year-old Collingwood great Scott Pendlebury says there's plenty in the tank after breaking the all-time games record against West Coast at the MCG. What a night. The Pies are scraping home to win by 10 points in Pendlebury's 433rd match. Star forward Jamie Elliott went down with a knee injury in the dying minutes.
We hope for the best. We don't know until scans. He's in reasonably good spirits. Can't rule anything out.
The Pies are hoping Elliott avoided tearing his ACL. In the NRL, the Dragons are heading towards their first wooden spoon in the club's history as a joint venture. Dean Young's side remain winless after a 30-12 defeat to the Warriors at Kogarah. Home fans booed at full time, with the Dragons' last win coming in August of last year.
To have so many of those fans turn up pay the hard-earned, sitting in the pouring rain, stay with us where we've built.
Well, Hull City secured promotion to the Premier League in the most dramatic fashion.
Oh, it's a good ball in, the keeper's lost it, and Hull City are surely heading to the Premier League.
Yeah, Hull scored in the 95th minute to defeat Socceroos midfielder Riley McGree's Middlesbrough 1-0 in the Championship playoff final at Wembley Stadium. The victory worth around $400 million. There you go. Let's check your weather now. Here is Sam back at Sydney's Balmoral Burn.
Larry, the Balmoral Burn is loading and it's in about 1 hour. These races starting. More than 20 will be on Warburg Street, one of the steepest hills in Sydney, 420 metres for a dream and also for charity. Look, people are already arriving and we're having a very special interview in just a second. But first, let's have a look at the weather.
Weekend sunrise weather brought to you by Zaraffa's Coffee. Start your morning with Australia's leading specialty coffee brand. Celebrating 30 years. Your moment, your Zaraffa's.
Brisbane, possible showers 25. Sydney, shower 2, 22. Chance of rain for Canberra 18. Melbourne, cloudy 18. Hobart, mostly cloudy 18. Rain for Adelaide 18. Perth, mostly sunny 21. Sunny for Broome 29. Darwin, mostly sunny 31. And possible showers for Alice Springs 18. Here we are. So the countdown, less than an hour till it starts. I'm with the founder, Phil Kearns, and ambassador, Joanna Griggs. Patron, the patron. How are we this morning?
More important than that. My God, get it right.
How are you going this morning? You ready for today?
Ready for today. I've been training for this for 25 years. and finally I'm ready.
What about you,
Last year we ran up it 3 times,
Oh,
didn't
did
you?
you?
Well, a run is a relative term. It's more a shuffle. It's a shuffle up the hill and maybe a bit of a walk along the way. And
What's the strategy? So 25 years this event's been running. What's the strategy for these competitors?
for the competitors, I don't know, just go hard. Or don't go hard. There's no strategy. You can do whatever you want. We're just here to make money for children's hospitals around the country, and that's our strategy, so we're sticking to that one.
And there is a race for everyone. Like, people can run with their dogs, or they can run in big inflatable blow-up costumes. They can do family walks, colour runs. They can take it seriously hardcore. But it's a really great community event, and at the heart of it is everything that Humpty does.
As you said, Humpty Dumpty Foundation, how important is that?
Well, we're supporting our 520?
521.
521 hospitals around the country now. We buy them equipment, which is life-saving equipment for their children. And, if they didn't have this equipment, then so many children would not make it.
Yeah, well, 1 in 5 children that are born actually require either special care nursery or a NICU or a PICU, newborn intensive care unit specialist care. So, 1 in 5 is frightening. So people might not think it's going to affect them, but I guarantee you someone in their family at some stage is going to need this.
So it's obviously a very important event, but it's also a fun one, bit of a calf pump on the way.
It's fun until you get to about 200 metres out, and then when you're 300 metres out, it's no longer fun anymore, and then by the time you get to 400 metres, it's excruciating, and you fall over the line at 420 and it's fun again.
Yeah, but then it's like giving birth, because you forget immediately after it.
I haven't given birth.
Although we don't like to see that personally.
Well, we're ready for today, everyone.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, here we go.
I
I'm crowned.
That you...
Joe's ready for
Nice.
today. We're ready. We're at a pub.
Hey, Sam, could you do me a favour? Could you just pass on a message to Kearnsy?
Yeah.
Tell him, I'm sorry, I was going to be there, but I had to be in here today. They called me in here
Otherwise,
to host the show. Could you just tell Kearnsy I'll
Larry
be
says
there?
he would love to be here. Larry Emdur, but he's in the studio today, unfortunately.
It was like when we started the Sydney to Hobart with Larry. We didn't know where he was either.
But he's always there for the finish. Yeah,
he's called you out.
I was busy keeping the bunks warm downstairs. Anyway, Kearnsy, whatever. What a great day down there at Balmoral. Well done, everyone.
Well, it's quite an extraordinary thing when you are with a loved one in hospital and you see that sticker on the side of the equipment.
many.
It's happened to me before, and you think, wow, this is really helping us.
Incredible work that they've done for so many years, and that is a fantastic event.
Isn't
if you can
it?
get up that hill.
Yes.
Yeah, good on you.
All right, soon for you this morning, no more forever, why some Aussies are banning using the word in their wedding vows.
Plus, is this the reality of ageing? The viral video exposing adults who have to size up their text on a computer screen.
Imagine that, Larry. And Sal feels the force, her special sit-down with Pedro Pascal as a new Star Wars film awakens.
What did that say?
Welcome back on the Sunrise News feed this morning. The Prime Minister has become emotional while speaking at a Labor conference in Victoria as he defended making changes to negative gearing and capital gains tax.
Let's bring in Kat Lynch from Triple M and commentator Angela Mollard. Good morning to you both. Kat, you've been surprised at the Prime Minister's emotions during this?
I'm kind of not surprised. He's been made into a lot of memes throughout the week, so I can imagine he is emotional about it because there's been a lot of backlash. Australians do not like to be ambushed when it comes to their money. And I think, I'm not sure if maybe they weren't quite expecting the backlash they'd receive from, startups and entrepreneurs and small businesses that feel like their profits are going to go down the toilet to taxes. So I'm not surprised he was a little emotional about it.
You looked a little overwrought.
Yes.
And this week you wrote about getting some feedback from a reader about those in their 20s having to worry about housing and tax reforms instead of having fun.
That's right, because I wrote my previous column about the fact that my 20-something daughters, we had always intended that they would rent vest, and now the finances on that didn't work. And I got, this happens, like you get emails from readers, and this one really lodged with me, and I suddenly thought, am I being too serious? When is the time that you do start having to focus on finances? And I sat with this all week, and I've come to the conclusion that yes, your 20s are a magical decade, but later life is more fun too. But I would make this point. I think that when I was growing up in the 90s, you could afford to squander your 20s. You really could. Now, I think it's a magic decade. And the more I've learned about personal finance, that is when your compounding starts. If you don't get in there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be property. It could be shares. It could be anything. I really believe the 20s are a magic decade. We need to sell it as that. Doesn't mean you can't have your pastries and your matches and all that. It's just you've got to be more intentional about it.
Interesting, isn't it? If you go back to your 20s, I don't remember any of my friends were talking about it. But now,
would you be talking with yours when they get to their 20s?
They're talking about it now, and they're in their late teens. So
you got to have a dream, right? You got to have a focus. Like I did when I was 20. I just wanted to read sport on Weekend Sunrise, and today that dream has come true.
See, it's been a lifetime of being a sport nut that has brought you to this place, the pinnacle.
But yeah,
at Oktoberfest. So
talking to that's right. Yeah, talking to teens and 20-year-olds about what's going to happen when you're 40, 50, 60.
I know, it doesn't hurt for them, but I do think if you can seed it. Just seed it a bit, and just even like the superannuation, there are so many great provisions now. You can put $50,000 in to then take out to buy a house, and a lot of them just don't know that.
Our 14-year-old is putting money into his super.
Good on him.
Can you believe that? He's working at the local cafe, and because he was working so much, so he could avoid. He started.
So he could avoid capital gains tax. How many properties?
I wouldn't have thought about that. He'll overtake all of us. Okay, TV star Andy Lee is set to tie the knot later this year. Congratulations. He has revealed that he will ban using the word forever in his wedding vows to Rebecca Harding. What do you think about this, Kat?
I actually don't mind it because I feel like nothing is really forever. When you are young, you think, you're going to have a friend forever. It's a best friends forever, and then that can change as you change as well. And look, to be honest with you, weddings are sometimes so boring, so the less wordy they are.
Take out a word every now and again.
I know, everyone thinks their wedding is the most interesting thing on earth, whereas everyone is there just, when can we get to the fun bit? So if there's less words,
how long are the photos taking? How long is till there's a drink?
Do it all at the same time, honestly. And then
we both can buy a woman who's been to a lot of weddings in the last 2 decades, right?
What do you reckon, Ange? Forever or not?
Do you know what? When I first read this, I went, that's a bit sad. And then I went, no. I am fully supportive of whatever relationship you want to have these days. I've been in a long-distance relationship for 12 years. 12 years ago, people were quite critical of that. Oh, what's going to happen? Is he going to move to Sydney? Blah, blah, blah. No, it doesn't matter. You do how you want to do it. And if you have one, and I love that word, that phrase Esther Perel says, the fantastic relationship expert. She says, all of us are going to have 2 or 3 significant relationships in our lifetime. Well, if we're lucky, they may be with the same person.
Yeah.
So you probably had 2 or 3 relationships with Sylvie, right? Different ones, as she's got more tolerant of you.
Let me just work through that. Well, Sylvie, sorry? Yes, 2 or 3 relationships while I'm with Sylvie.
No, with Sylvie, because each relationship.
Yes, we've been married 3 times.
Yeah. Have you done that confirmation?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And Sylvie, just on the forever thing, Sylvie says we mightn't be married forever, but she'll own our house forever. So she's thought it through. She's thought it through this whole forever thing.
She's a smart woman. In fact, we're going to delve a little bit into your relationship here.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
Well, I didn't. No, we're not.
Yes, we are. This video, because I've got into your phone. This video is going viral about what ageing is really like. Have a look. See if you can relate.
Oh, yeah. It is time.
Yeah. Does anybody else relate to this?
Yes.
Can you show, because we've all commented about the size of the text.
Firstly, I find this offensive that you're all looking at my phone. But that's the size, that's a text
Holy
to Sylvie.
smokes.
And it's a nice text.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a nice
the whole
text.
screen for one word.
But that one, that is the size of my font.
Yeah, but Mon, you're not a 62-year-old man.
Yeah, but I'm not that far behind you. But look at that. But when it's such cute text. Thank you, baby.
That's
so you call it baby?
Thank you, baby.
You call each other baby, don't you?
Oh, that's not to Sylvie. Wait.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, baby. Love you. No, my text is I can't read this on a bus or a train, and that's another reason I don't catch a bus or a train because my text is too big.
Do you get the flashlight out at menus in the restaurant?
Yeah. Or ask your kids to read it for you.
When I'm in the shower, I can't see conditioner and shampoo anymore.
Yeah.
Can they just put it in massive big letters? Because I'm trying to pick it up. And
I'm so glad I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Do you know on the morning show? Sorry, go on.
There you go.
On the morning show, we sell these glasses where you put them on, and there's little torches on them.
Brilliant.
See, that's better. I can read that
Can
now.
we make that a bit bigger? I can't read that.
Yeah, make it take over.
Town crier to
Kat,
just
you're
recite everything.
not at this stage, are you?
Oh, I'm getting there. I have to say I'm getting there. Especially in emails, I have a specific font that I need that I can read properly. It needs to be in bold for me.
Yeah. Or you're just doing a lot of that all the time.
Oh, whole life.
Yeah.
It's my whole life. And these.
Yes. On, off. Me too. Thank you, Kat. Thanks, Ange.
Thank you.
I can hear you, I just can't see you. Coming up in the next hour for you, Scott Pendlebury makes AFL history. We are live to Hope Wilson in Melbourne. Hi, Hope.
433 games, an incredible feat, and still there was a surprise for the 90,000 fans inside the MCG. We'll detail what that was and how the milestone man is spending his morning ahead on Weekend Sunrise.
Plus the enhanced games. We're live to an advisor of the controversial sporting event and whether it's safe.
And rocking out in California, Aussie band Men at Work are on the big stage at a sold-out festival in the US, and we got some more on that for you next up.
Welcome back. It's time for Pop News now. Here's Sal. Yes, it's time for entertainment. Calling all rockers, a star-studded lineup has hit the stage for day one of Bottle Rock Napa Festival in California. Teddy Swims, Lord and Natasha Bedingfield headline to over 100,000 people. The Foo Fighters, Backstreet Boys and Somber all coming up in the next 2 days. But it wasn't over until Aussie rockers Men at Work brought the festival home and the house down, taking the crowd down under. Still got it, I've never had it. Meanwhile, singer Niall Horan has released a beautiful new song reflecting on the loss of his late One Direction bandmate Liam Payne. The song's called End of an Era, reminiscing on their younger years, reflecting on his grief after Payne's death in October of 2024. It's part of his upcoming album Dinner Party, which is set to be released in June. They're home to this hit. Announced their brand new album. It is called The User's Guide to Being Human, and it was created by the same hit-making team behind some of the band's biggest anthems. And they're taking it on the road. Their arena tour kicks off across the UK and Europe this October before finally making their way down under to Australia in 2027.
Well, Paul Simon has revealed the song that he thinks has the best chance of still being very popular in 100 years' time. The hit was written when Simon was 22 years old. It rose high on the charts in 1964. And it was inspired by an echo in his bathroom. OK, it was, of course, Sound of Silence.
And echoed in the wells of silence, and the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made.
Hey!
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to know it was inspired by an echo in the bathroom. There's a few sounds going on in the bathroom, and that one's a pleasant one. The sounds
I'd like to hear that.
It could have been the sounds of something else. Like, it could have been a whole other song, if you think about it.
Confused.
What is
Sorry,
They
Sal.
can really drop the beat, if you know what I mean.
Sorry, Sal?
Yeah? No.
What would be the sound?
Oh, this, just, you know, bass line. A lot of bass, you know.
It's all about the bass. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
There's Sal with the plop news. Thank you, Sal.
I think that's one of the greatest words of all time.
Of all time.
Of all times. Right up there with slacks. All right. Thank you, Sal, very much. It is 8 o'clock. Our top stories this morning. This morning, catastrophic failure, major intelligence breakdown before Bondi's deadly massacre, how the alleged attackers fell through the cracks.
Breaking news, new allegations against Andrew Mountbatten Windsor involving a second woman as police investigations continue.
Happening now inside the enhanced games. World-class athletes descend on Vegas, competing with the help of banned substances.
New overnight, Great Scott. Pendlebury makes history, breaking AFL's all-time games record.
The rise of Stacey face, from button noses to big eyes, how AI is warping female beauty standards.
Plus, is it time to renovate or wait? Rising prices, tighter supplies, new advice for the best time to build.
And can you hear the thunder? Men at Work take centre stage on Weekend Sunrise this Sunday, the 24th of May, 2026.
Live from Studio 52, this is Weekend Sunrise with Larry Emdur and Monique Wright.
Good morning, welcome to Weekend Sunrise. Great to have your company on this Sunday morning. Still to come this morning, the ultimate bacon cheeseburger. That is why Larry is here. It is the only briefing note that he's read the whole weekend. We're in the kitchen for a delicious new treat that you can try at home, right, Laz?
Yes, for sure. We begin with breaking news, and police have shot a man dead at Moreton Bay, north of Brisbane. They were responding to a domestic violence incident at Narangba just after midnight. When officers arrived, they were confronted by an armed man making threats. Police then fired a shot, hitting the man. They commenced CPR, but he died at the scene. Queensland's Ethical Standards Command has been called in to investigate.
And police investigating former Andrew Mountbatten Windsor are looking into a new claim involving a second woman. Isabel Mullen is in London for us. Now, Izzy, what do we know about this new claim?
Good morning. Well, this is a developing saga for former Prince Andrew, now accused of acting inappropriately towards a woman at the Royal Ascot races back in 2002. The scandal surrounding the King's brother only appearing to deepen, with reports that his late mother, the late Queen, was also present at that race meet. It was her Golden Jubilee year. It is unclear whether these allegations were made at the time or if they are new, but they are forming part of the police investigation into those allegations of misconduct in public office and sexual offences following his arrest back in February. The former Prince has always denied any wrongdoing.
All right, Izzy, thank you. Let's get some more news now, and here's Sally.
In breaking news this morning, US President Donald Trump says he is getting closer to a deal with Iran. He says the agreement has been largely negotiated, which will include the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. The president says the agreement needs sign-off from other countries. Details are set to be announced soon. Police in Melbourne are hunting for 3 masked offenders after a suspicious fire at Braybrook this morning. They allegedly set fire to 2 cars just after 3 a.m, which spread to a nearby property. Both vehicles were destroyed in the blaze. 2 people inside the house weren't injured. Police remain at the scene and are appealing for anyone with information to come forward. There are new claims this morning that Australia's spy agency wasn't told about the overseas travel taken by the alleged Bondi attackers in the lead-up to the massacre. Let's go live to Nats Levy in Bondi this morning. Nats, what did ASIO know? What do we know about it?
Well, Sally, as it turns out, it seems ASIO did not know enough. An investigation into the Bondi terror attack has revealed a communication breakdown and intelligent failures amongst our top security agencies here in Australia. Now, in 2019, ASIO interviewed Naveed Akram and his father. They demanded that a travel alert be put on the pair, as well as their file reopened if they were known to associate with extremist organisations. It has been revealed that in 2022, the pair travelled to Uzbekistan, a gateway to terrorist organisation hotspot Afghanistan, where they've tried to cross over into foot. Now, the intelligence failure seems to be that this travel alert was put on for their first port and not their final destination, and that this information was not shared with our top spy agency. So clearly a breakdown in communication, as well as an intelligence failures that will be looked into and questioned tomorrow when the Royal Commission into the Bondi terror attack recommences. Sally.
All right, thank you very much, Nats. A Sydney teen has been stabbed at a party in the city's west. Police were called to an address in Mount Druitt just after midnight after reports he'd been attacked by a group of people. They had left by the time police arrived, though. The 16-year-old was taken to hospital. They're reported to be in a stable condition. Overseas, a toxic chemical leak in California has forced tens of thousands of people out of their homes. Emergency crews have been working to stop the leak of the highly volatile chemical. They haven't had success so far, though. Temperatures inside the tank are continuing to rise. More than 40,000 people have been ordered to leave their homes in Orange County until the emergency's over. A large-scale rescue operation continues in northern China after one of the country's worst mine disasters. 82 people were killed in a gas explosion at the coal mine yesterday. More than 100 others are still being treated in hospital. Well, history was made in the AFL last night with Collingwood's Scott Pendlebury setting an all-time games record. Let's go live to Hope Wilson in Melbourne for us today. Hello to you, Hope. Oh, what a big night for the Pies legend.
Well, Sal, it's certainly given a new meaning to party pies. There were quite literally fireworks here at the MCG last night as Scott Pendlebury broke the AFL record, running out for his 433rd game. And it really couldn't have been more perfect for him. He had that gold number 10 on the back of his jumper. Then at the 10-minute mark of the game, play stopped. Fans, 90,000 of them, on their feet, waving those SP 433 banners. He even pointed out at the end of the game, 4 + 3 + 3 equals 10, and to top it off, Collingwood won by 10 points. It has been an incredible career for the milestone man. He has 2 premierships. He was drafted from Sale, his first game back in 2006. Originally, he was focused on basketball. Incredible to believe that now he has played the most games of any AFL player. Take a listen to him last night.
It's weird. It feels like it's been an eternity, but it's gone quick at the same time. And I thought I was playing basketball at one stage there when I threw the ball out of the pack, but the umpires are on me, so they should have let that one slip. But no, it's been a hell of a ride, and there's still more in the tank, though.
So every week, Scott Pendlebury will just go on to break his own record week after week. He was asked about last night whether we'll see more celebrations like that. I think he is very humble, very keen just to get back to playing usual footy. It has been a huge week of celebrations. He's even been clapped going to the supermarket. This morning, it is back to his usual routine in the ice bath. Sal?
Well, let's clap him in the ice bath too. Keep it coming, I say. Celebrations all around. All right, thanks for that. Hope Wilson there. Well, the hazardous surf conditions on the Gold and Sunshine Coast are expected to last for a few more days. All Gold Coast beaches were closed yesterday. Didn't stop some riders, though, as you can see, riding the biggest waves of the year. They were up to 8.6 metres off North Stradbroke Island. Winds are expected to ease today, but dangerous surf is likely to last for a couple of days. Let's go to Larry now. He's got your sport.
It sounds weird. You're just standing next to a guy in an ice bath clapping, Sal. Everyone's thinking it.
In hindsight,
Yeah.
when I play it back, it would be a bit strange.
All right, in the AFL, Carlton remain unbeaten since they parted ways with Michael Voss. The Blues cruised past Port Adelaide by 34 points last night, sealing back-to-back wins under caretaker coach Josh Fraser.
It's fun winning. Yeah, it's fun winning. I was really happy with tonight's performance. I thought we were able to consolidate some things that we went to work on during the week.
Yeah, Geelong defeated the Swans by 27 points, handing Sydney their second loss of the season. Collingwood's 10-point win over West Coast was soured by a knee injury to forward Jamie Elliott, and North Melbourne stunned Gold Coast on the siren by 6 points. Well, in the NRL, the Sea Eagles continue to soar under interim coach Kieran Foran. Missing...
Look, I think the performances that he's put in over the past month have been exceptional. He's been near our best player on the field.
The Dragons remain winless at the bottom of the table through 11 matches after a 30-12 defeat to the Warriors. Former Sydney FC manager Steve Corica has led Auckland FC to a maiden A-League crown. A deflected strike from distance was enough to seal a 1-0 win over the Sky Blues in last night's grand final. Corica leading the Kiwis to glory less than 3 years after he was sacked by Sydney.
I love winning, and I wanted these boys to put on a show tonight. Obviously nice to win against Sydney as well. There's a lot of pressure going into the game.
Yeah, in just their second season, Auckland are the first non-Australian side to win the title. All right, let's check back in with Sam Payne now at Sydney's famous Balmoral Burn run.
Larry, it is all happening. The race, the first one is about to start. Are we girls ready? High energy here in the 25th year of the Balmoral Burn. Take a look at Warburton Street. It's ready. It's ready to break some hearts and make some dreams. I've got a special interview, but first, let's take a look at the weather.
Weekend Sunrise weather brought to you by Zaraffa's Coffee. Start your morning with Australia's leading specialty coffee brand. Celebrating 30 years. Your moment, your Zaraffa's.
Brisbane, possible showers 25. Sydney, shower at 2, 22. Chance of rain for Canberra, 18. Melbourne, cloudy, 18. Hobart, mostly cloudy, 18. Rain for Adelaide, 18. Perth, mostly sunny, 21. Sunny for Broome, 29. Darwin, mostly sunny, 31. And possible showers for Alice Springs, 18. Now we're here with two very special athletes. I've got Sarah and Benson Archer. How are you guys going this morning?
We're well, thank you.
And why is the Balmoral Burn so important to you?
The Balmoral Burn is really important to us. It's a cause close to our hearts. Benson was born 32 weeks premature, and we relied on the medical equipment donated by Humpty Dumpty to help him thrive and grow.
And now I understand, Benson, you're quite the athlete now, mate. So you're doing 3 of these races today, right?
Yeah, I'm doing the baby race, the school one and the family race.
And talk to me, so it's a pretty tough hill, 420 metres, straight incline, a lot of calf up. Are you going to be saving any energy for each race? Or are you going as hard as possible?
Oh, well, my main goal is just to make it up the hill. I'm just going to try and save as much energy for the last part because I know that's the steepest.
But I understand you had a sleepover last night, so you might be a tiny bit tired.
Yeah, I will be a bit tired. Yeah, definitely. But
Just don't tell his mum though, a bit of a late night, but we got it. We've got this. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for the race? Yeah! It's all happening. We've got some fancy outfits here today. We've got some people dressed up as babies. We've got a lot of fluoro colours, and we're ready for a fun morning here in Balmoral. Guys?
Oh, Sam Payne, isn't that beautiful? That beautiful family giving back in the way that they are. And a big shout out to Bron from Hervey Bay, who called for that Kate Bush classic running up that hill.
Gotta have it.
It's perfect. Thank you, Sam.
Oh, look at them all smiling till about the first 100 metres.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. The Prime Minister has defended making changes to negative gearing and the capital gains tax during an emotional address at the Labor conference in Victoria.
As a Labor Prime Minister, I refuse to stand back and say we know it's a broken system. We know it's locking an entire generation of the Australians out of the housing market. But if there's only something we could do, we're doing something, and it's the right thing to do.
Riles, 7 News political editor. Geez, it's been a long week for him. Do you think that's what it was, that it was a long week? Do you think that they anticipated the backlash to the budget the way it has been?
No, I don't think they did. Good morning, guys. It was quite a moment, though, wasn't it? I mean, he's an emotionally centred individual. As Prime Minister, he tends to wear his heart on his sleeve at times. But I saw a combination of Anthony Albanese there feeling the pressure and probably feeling the love at the same time. And this is a man who is under intense pressure because his budget is being smashed online by a very effective communications campaign that is drowning out the government's message. It's misleading in large ways, but that doesn't matter. What the people believe to be true is more important than what is true, and the government has an inability to communicate what it's doing and why it's doing it. But also, guys, that breach of trust. I think people took this man on his word. He said in his own words 50 times that he wouldn't be changing capital gains tax and negative gearing. Now he's changed them both, so he's lost that with the electorate, but he's also feeling the pressure of a campaign that he has been unable to correct and get on top of, I think.
Yeah, the reaction in the pub's very loud, right? The housing tax reforms have had a very mixed reaction, Riles, and even two of his own MPs have conceded more work needs to be done for small businesses impacted by the capital gains changes. What do you read into that?
Yeah, Les, and this is because this is a function of, a product of that social media campaign, which has been incredibly effective. We've all seen those memes of Anthony Albanese, a 47% partner in small businesses across the country. Quite funny on the surface, but no laughing matter for the government because people are believing this, and it's wrong. It's just wrong. The small businesses will still get the 50% CGT discount, another 50% on top of that for their active assets. If it's business is owned for 15 years, there's 100% capital gains tax deduction, and if you're aged over 55, first $500,000 is totally tax-free. None of that matters because Andrew Charlton there and Jerome Laxale and others are saying that's not what the people are hearing and it's not what they're believing, and the government hasn't been able to communicate the truth to get over the top of the noise. Why? Because people aren't listening to it, and that is a huge problem.
Absolutely, and the fact that they just keep on having to explain it, that's another sign of a lingering bad budget.
Yep, on the back foot.
Yeah, the New South Wales Premier broken ranks. This is Chris Minns has been criticising a lack of action on bracket creep. We know that the government wanted to just push this through Parliament to get it through. Do you think that will happen, or do you think that the government is starting to think about whether it's the right way to go?
Yeah, I don't think the government can afford to index the taxation brackets, which is what Angus Taylor's now saying he would do, and what Chris Minns says would probably be a better option. But there's a bit behind this, guys. The New South Wales felt dudded by the federal budget. It said it was the hardest hit state because of the economic slowdown hitting its citizens who have much larger mortgages than people, particularly in Sydney, than people in the rest of the country, and there was no additional relief or recognition of that. There were big infrastructure cuts. There was some grumbling, as there always is, over inadequate GST. There's also a bit of personal friction coming to the surface here. I'm sensing that, Chris Minns was seen as more responsive to, particularly after Bondi, more effective than Anthony Albanese, and I think that it's created a bit of leadership friction between these two fellow travellers, although Minns is on the right and Albanese is of the left. They're both from New South Wales, and we know the bare-knuckled world of Labor politics in that state, but there's a little bit beneath the surface here, and I think Chris Minns is just playing his own game, as a good Premier should, and Anthony Albanese is just going to have to deal with it.
With, of course, is One Nation. We're seeing this new Redbridge poll, which is showing that Pauline Hanson's One Nation could win as many as 59 seats if a federal election was held today. It's interesting to see the PM and the government still going after the opposition and criticising again yesterday, criticising Angus Taylor's budget reply, when it may well be One Nation that he's got to be worried about.
Yeah, they really haven't found their pace with One Nation, do they? They don't really know how to engage Pauline Hanson. She's become a bit elusive. She does most of her communications on social media, very effective Facebook campaign. And I think that Anthony Albanese is finding it really difficult to approach this problem. Look, One Nation won't win 53 seats at the next election, I can tell you that. This is a point in time, and at the moment people are really worried about what's going on. They're feeling the economic pressure. Petrol is high. They're feeling social pressure after Bondi in particular. They're now resonating. The messages that Pauline Hanson has been putting out into the political world for 30 years are now starting to resonate in a different way, particularly anti-immigration and energy. And I think she is a disruptor. So people are seeing the two main parties, Liberal and Labor, as kind of Coles and Woolies, and she's coming in as the disruptor, not an Aldi, but a kind of farmers market, a collective, political collective that's going to find another way, and people are responding to that. It's a shake-up in Australian politics. It's been coming for a long time, and the government is going to have to respond to it. How do you respond to it? Bit of inspirational leadership, a bit of landscaping about where Australia should be and the values of being Australian. Win that debate over who really has the superior idea about nationalism and patriotism. These are not bad words. It's good to be a patriotic Australian, but the government's got to take back control of that because they're losing it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they lean more into what we've heard a bit this week, saying we're the only centrist party now, and then lumping everybody else together, One Nation, Coalition and Nationals together. Yeah. All right, Riles, we're going to get you back in about an hour, so don't go anywhere. Thank you.
Beauty. Can't wait.
Much to chat about. Here's Larry.
See you.
Yeah, sorry I had to leave the political chat. I had to get over here for the sports chat. Let's get a check of last night's footy results. In the AFL, Geelong beat Sydney. Collingwood edged out West Coast and Carlton thumped Port Adelaide. And in the NRL, the Warriors took down the Dragons and the Seagulls held off the Titans. And joining us to discuss it all, league legend Brett Camorley. Noddy, good morning to you, mate. Everyone's saying this morning. Great Scott, what a night.
Yeah, what a night. Become record breaker. Been a Collingwood legend for a long, long time. Captain, premiership winner. And as you said, to have gone on and played this many games of AFL football, he gets rested a little bit now at the moment because of the load and because of the age and just how your body needs to be looked after. But his leadership for Collingwood is just extreme. 433rd game.
Amazing.
It's ridiculous how many games. You think 433. Like, we had Cameron Smith in the NRL achieve the only one that's created 400 games. But in the AFL, to go so long, to be a legend of this, and think about Collingwood as how big of a Collingwood club is in the AFL, but also just in Melbourne. So had some setbacks, had some big challenges, but great storyline last night.
Really deserve. Oh, there's the jersey. There it is.
Yes.
Now they knew that the $81,000 up for now. You can buy that. That's good stuff. Hey, now he would have deserved that ice bath this morning. That would have felt pretty good.
I don't know how he'd be feeling good. He'd be like, I'm going to play next year now. He'd be bulletproof at the moment. And then tomorrow, Larry, he'd be like, my knees are a bit sore, my body's a bit sore. They come off the highs to the lows. But just an amazing story for a player, and obviously Collingwood being such a big club.
All right, mate. NRL now. Manly continue to soar. Not going so good for the Dragons right now.
No, the Dragons just Larry. I'm not sure where that one finishes this year.
What are your plans for Wednesday night, mate? What do you got on?
I'll be going to the State of Origin. I've been working in Origin, doing Blues radio for SEN. So I think this is the biggest moment of rugby league. Game 1, Game 2, Game 3, the most watched and the most spoken about. 10 days in camp. I think there's a bit of pressure on New South Wales. The fact that we're playing Game 1 at home, I don't think we've won an opening game at home in the last 4 occasions. So, victory for Queensland always here on our soil. We've got to get victory. I think we're a better spine, which is the key. The 1, 6, 7, 9, 13, Larry. You know a lot about this spine.
1, 6, 7, 9, 13.
When you're talking about people about Origin, more experience because obviously Plath come in for Queensland and Walker come in for Queensland. First State of Origin game. So that's where we'll win it.
All right, what are those numbers again?
Yeah, 1, 6, 7, 9, 13. Like Lotto.
You sound like a guy called the Lotto. Hey, Macca's in Melbourne for us. Macca, it's all about Great Scott down there, right?
Yeah, well, speaking of numbers, 4-3-3, the game's record holder. 4 + 3 + 3 = 10. The Pies won by 10 points. Scott Pendlebury's number, 10. So it's all about the numbers game, and wasn't it a moment of footy history yesterday as the Pies just got the job over the done against the gallant Eagles who they certainly made it hard for Collingwood, but one of the moments, not just the footy season, but really footy history yesterday. And how's this, Larry? I mean, you might be used to this, but Scotty Pendlebury on Friday went to the shops just to pick up some groceries for him and his family, got a standing ovation from just shoppers. He was walking out of his local shops and they said, Scotty, good luck tomorrow, and and got a guard of honour out of the local grocery store yesterday. So what a wonderful moment, but it's really soured by this moment here in Jamie Elliott doing what looks like a serious knee injury, and if Collingwood are really going to be any sort of chance in September, they need Jamie Elliott. So that is probably put a line through Collingwood as a contender, unfortunately, and it's going to be really difficult for the Pies now heading into the rest of the year without their main spearhead up forward.
All right, boys, it sounds like a Central Coast breakfast radio show. Macca and Noddy, good to see you both.
Standing ovation for you.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Thanks for that. Here's Mon. Thank you, mate.
Macca, Noddy and Laz, thank you. All right, it's the sporting event where doping is not only allowed, it's actually encouraged. The controversial Enhanced Games, dubbed the Steroid Olympics, kicks off today in Las Vegas, where elite sprinters, swimmers and weightlifters will vie for world records. Now, Aussie swimmer James Magnussen says that he's ready to chase a world record after undergoing a performance enhancing program. Organisers are promising huge cash prizes. Health experts warn, though, that the risks could be enormous. Well, joining us now is Timothy Piotowski, who is from Queensland University and an advisor for the Enhanced Games. Thank you so much for being with us this morning, Timothy. First off, so you've received funding from the Games, is that right, for some of your work?
Yes. We've created athlete safety materials
to
reduce harm.
So what is your role with the Games? What are you doing for them?
So I'm on the Performance Enhancement Task Force. There's 6 of us from all around the world who've been selected to advise and provide guidance related to athlete safety and harm reduction.
And how to do it without, harming themselves. That's the big question here, isn't it? Are you confident that these athletes won't harm themselves and in 10 years' time we won't find out about terrible adverse effects?
I mean, there's an entire medical team there as well, and all of the drugs and the protocols selected draw on a wide range of clinical literature, as well as tweaking, consistent health monitoring, testing, and I guess real personalised case review. So there are risks there, and we acknowledge those risks. They're present in the literature, but the athletes acknowledge those risks too and proceed.
Does it make you uncomfortable being an advisor to this?
I think the cultural awareness piece that Enhance brings to the world is actually quite good. I think the public health sort of optics is bringing to light the fact that we are moving towards a society that openly uses substances, and enhancement drugs are part of that. And in doing so, I think educates people and removes that taboo around practices that really have been going on outside of elite sport and in mainstream society and public discourse. And you would have seen with injectable peptides lately, especially, happening. Next door neighbour, probably family member, all of us know someone.
Okay, with that cultural awareness, I'm thinking of kids who are watching this, right? They watch the Olympics. This is a totally different ball game. Are you worried about the message that sends to young people? I mean, we know our young people are already taking peptides and all sorts of rubbish that they're getting off the internet. And with the games like this, they're seeing well-known athletes who they look up to now openly taking it.
Yeah, I think at that critical period of physiological development, there is no reason that a young person should use androgens or injectable peptides or other things that might alter their physiology permanently. That said, I think that's the role of us as public health communicators, researchers, health promotion and health services workforce to ensure that there is wraparound education and messaging there. And that said, really, if you're a young person, the strong message being delivered is don't do this. However, as people grow into adults, I think it's important that we let them make well-informed decisions. And within those well-informed decisions, they're able to make up their mind about what risks they're willing to take and what risks they're not willing to take. But I think the important thing is that people know and are privy to the entire spectrum of what's actually happening.
Okay, the World Anti-Doping Agency strongly opposed to the competition. Do you think that criticism is unreasonable?
I think we have tested and untested sporting federations all over the world. Good examples are in strength sports like powerlifting. If you go into a tested sport and you agree to that agreement, then you'd hope that athletes stick to that agreement. Here, that agreement is that everyone can openly use enhancement substances. They don't have to, and there's some athletes that have opted not to and come into the games. But certainly there's a large number that are. That said, that's the open agreement, right? Whereas I think, if people do want to use these substances, there should be an avenue where they can. If, on the other hand, they want to compete in a tested sport, well, then don't use the drugs.
All right. Timothy, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back with more in just a moment. Welcome back. News time now. Here's Sal.
In breaking news, a long-awaited deal between the United States and Iran is close to being finalised. US President Donald Trump has taken to social media to say an agreement has largely been negotiated. Among the terms is the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. The US is now discussing the negotiated terms with other countries. Donald Trump says details will be announced soon. A man has been shot dead by police at Narangba, north of Brisbane. Officers were called to a domestic violence dispute just after midnight. When they arrived, they were confronted by a man armed with a gun making threats. Officers fired a shot, striking the man. They tried to revive him, but he died at the scene. An independent investigation is now underway. There are new claims of failures in Australia's intelligence networks involving the alleged Bondi terror attackers. It's claimed ASIO had requested travel alerts be placed on Naveed and Sajid Akram in 2019 and for it to be notified when they associated with extremists. News Corp's reporting the pair travelled to Uzbekistan in late 2022 or early 23, but Border Force didn't pass the information on to ASIO or New South Wales Police. It's claimed the spy agency may have revisited their assessment of the pair if it was aware of their travel to Uzbekistan and the Philippines months prior to the deadly attack. 3 masked offenders have torched 2 cars outside a home in Melbourne. Emergency crews were called to a house in Braybrook earlier this morning. 2 cars have been set alight. Flames damaged a nearby home. The people inside that property weren't hurt, but police are treating the blaze as suspicious. The mother of a man killed in a terrifying head-on collision is calling for a full investigation into the crash. Seamus Digan was on his way home in an Uber after celebrating his birthday when the car he was in was hit at high speed. 3 people were killed instantly in the crash in the southwest of Sydney yesterday, including the driver of the speeding Audi. Locals say there have been multiple crashes in the area and want permanent speed cameras installed. Meanwhile, 2 people have been taken to hospital after a 3-car collision in Sydney's inner west. That was late last night. A taxi was among those treated by paramedics at the scene. Police are investigating the cause of the crash. Hazardous surf conditions along the Gold and Sunshine Coast are continuing today. Lifeguards are urging people to take note of their warnings. Let's go live to our reporter Georgia Costi on the Gold Coast. Morning to you, Georgia. How are conditions looking at the moment?
Well, Sally, just a short time ago, lifeguards here on the Gold Coast decided to once again shut all beaches today. This is the second day in a row that decision has been made because it is simply too rough and dangerous. The reason for all of this is a low in the Tasman Sea, but it's really static and slow moving, and that's what's making these rough conditions continue to linger. Overnight across Tweed Heads and the Gold Coast, we saw some impressive wave heights recorded offshore between 6 and 7 metres. Onshore was still decent as well, well over 3 metres, and we're still seeing those really strong southerly winds of about 35 knots offshore. So it is great news for experienced surfers, but not so much swimmers. And Sally, this system is expected to linger until at least Tuesday, so beaches will likely be closed tomorrow as well.
All right, thanks for that, Georgia Costi there. Scientists, meanwhile, in the UK are racing to develop a vaccine to tackle an Ebola emergency. The development comes as the World Health Organization raises the public health risk to very high in the Democratic Republic of Congo. A Red Cross volunteer working in the country is one of the latest to die from Ebola, bringing the death toll to more than 170 people. Another 700 cases are also suspected. Well, one of the world's most controversial sporting events is about to start in Las Vegas. The Enhanced Games will see 42 world-class athletes competing, most taking performance-enhancing drugs. That includes steroids, peptides and hormones taken under medical supervision. Aussie swimmer James Magnussen is among those competing.
I believe this is the future of sport in many ways.
Critics say it's putting the health of athletes at risk and is seeking to normalise cheating. Anyone who breaks a world record stands to win $1.4 million. All right, let's get checky weather now with Sam Payne. He is in Sydney at the Balmoral Burn. Hello to you, Sam.
Hello, Mon. We've been warming up. We're ready for the 25th year of the Balmoral Burn. How you going? The girls' relay is up next to me. We've got Humpty here. Humpty, how are you going, mate? Oh, Humpty speaks. I normally don't speak, which is great. But it's a big event, raising money for the Humpty Dumpty Foundation. I'll have some more details on that. But first, let's take a look at the weather. Just reminder.
Weekend sunrise weather brought to you by Zaraffa's Coffee. Start your morning with Australia's leading specialty coffee brand. Celebrating 30 years. Your moment, your Zaraffa's.
Brisbane, possible showers, 25. Sydney, shower or 2, 22. Chance of rain for Canberra, 18. Melbourne, cloudy, 18. Hobart, mostly cloudy, 18. Rain for Adelaide, 18. Perth, mostly sunny, 21. Sunny for Broome, 29. Darwin, mostly sunny, 31. And possible showers for Alice Springs, 18. Wow, so the girls' relay is actually about to begin. Now, this young man will not be competing in the girls' relay, but he's a very special competitor. I'm with Catherine and Griff. Catherine, why is the Humpty Dumpty Foundation so important to your family?
We had Griffin at 28 weeks, so he was 3 months premature. 986 grand, and all the equipment that kept Griffin alive for the 2 months was donated by Humpty and everyone here.
Wow. And then Griff, I understand they're calling you Super Griff now, mate. You're raising money for your 7th piece of medical equipment today?
Yeah, it's been a hard run, especially during... I don't know how I survived, and all the money came from Humpty, and I'm just happy to be here doing the burn.
Thank you so much, mate. Good luck today. I really appreciate it. And the weather is great. It's holding out. The vibes are high. These girls are about to have a really big run. Let's take a look. Yeah. Feel this energy. It's all happening. We'll get one of these race starts in a tiny bit, Bob.
All right, Sam Payne, it is all happening down there. Such a great event. Thank you. Well, last weekend we had a fascinating and really confronting conversation with a youth advocate about the internet subculture, which is called looks maxing. It's where young men use different techniques to improve their appearance, from simple measures like hairstyling to more extreme practices, including steroids or bone smashing.
Now, teenage girls are engaging in the trend too, with the rise of so-called Stacey face. Big eyes, high cheekbones, upturned noses and full lips, all involving AI to alter their attributes, where surgery and starvation are often encouraged.
Well, to help us understand this, we welcome back psychotherapist and counsellor with the Butterfly Foundation, Lillian Joyce.
Hi,
Lillian, thank you so much for coming in again. OK, so obviously what our kids are looking at is not even real. So it's not even like when we were growing up where you'd look at magazines and you'd go, oh, look, 1% of the population might look like that. Now it's no percentage of the population looks like that.
Yes, it's really scary because there's Photoshop, there's AI, there's blemishing, there's so many injectables you can put in your face as well that are really scary, and people are just getting it more and more and more. So we actually don't know what real beauty is anymore.
Are we pointing the finger directly at influencers? This is just it's an internet game, isn't it?
I think this falls in two parts. So yes, influencers have a lot to account for. They have a lot of responsibility in the influence that they have, but above them is the wellness industry, the fitness industry, the beauty industry that is profiting fully off young people being insecure about this. So yes, it's the influencers, but above that, it's the industries that are profiting off that further.
What are you seeing the effect is of this on the ground?
Yeah, we're seeing a really, really wide effect. So this could increase people's ability to engage in really risky and dangerous behaviours, to lose more weight, to change their facial structure. I think the most extreme we've seen is something called corset maxing, which is where people wear corsets to try and physically change the size of their ribs and the size of their torso, which of course has very detrimental impacts on their development and their changing body. So lots of really, really diverse impacts.
What needs to be tackled first? Is it about access to the internet for young people, or is it having access to people like you? And there's not enough of you to fix this problem. These things have run away from us so quickly.
Yeah, so yes, it's having a lot more access, but it's also having a lot more conversations. So parents are a really key influence here to have transparent, frequent and open conversations with their loved ones, to be able to protect them and inform them on what the harms are online and how to be a bit safer and engaging in the content.
Can we just double down on that a bit? Because as a parent, we're telling them about so many things. Don't get into a car with someone who's been drinking. Don't, put a seatbelt on. Like, there is just so many different things. Be careful on e-bikes. And then there's this where we want to make it very clear to them that their identity is not defined by how they look. Yes. But it can sound like just another thing that we're nagging them about. How do we build up their self-confidence so that they can see that it's just rubbish? It's absolute rubbish. They're perfect the way they are.
Yeah, great question. So lots of different ways to do this. First is having those open conversations with your young ones. So being able to identify what's AI, what's Photoshop, and then increasing their self-worth outside of their appearance. So what are their hobbies? What are their skills outside of just the way they look? And also diversifying what their idea of beauty is. We don't want that one size fits all. We want to have lots of different shapes, lots of different sizes, lots of different races and ages to really build up that diverse way of looking at beauty.
Lillian, how would parents go about prioritising which one to hit? It's like the Matrix, right? It's like these things flying at you from every direction. Yes. Of all the things on the table, and Mon just mentioned a couple of them, parents are looking at this going, my kids are suffering.
And I don't want to lose connection with them as well.
Where do you start to build that foundation?
I think probably in modelling yourself as a parent. Yeah. So that would be the way you talk about your own body, the way you talk about other people's bodies. Children learn a lot from us. And so it's really important to be able to talk respectfully, openly, and celebrate all bodies, including your own, for your children to mirror that. If people do get stuck, though, we do have a lot of resources on the Butterfly website on how to have those conversations, and they're also welcome to call and we can talk them through those conversations.
Yours is an amazing organisation. It is such a resource. We'd love to get you back in and talk about this more, because it's such a huge conversation. Yeah. Thank you, Lillian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, for support with body image concerns or eating disorders, you can contact the Butterfly Foundation. The details are on the screen right now.
All right, here's Sally.
Thanks, guys. Well, a new Star Wars movie has landed in cinemas, and the force is strong with this one. The Mandalorian and Grogu takes two of the franchise's most popular characters from the small screen to the big screen, and I ventured to a galaxy sorta far, far away to meet the stars in Japan.
Hey, never touch the buttons.
The bounty hunter and his young apprentice are taking flight for their biggest adventure yet. The man in the mask, Pedro Pascal, juggling epic stunts and the physical demands of the Mandalorian costume on icy mountains and in murky water.
Was it your background as a state-level swimmer in the under-11s that helped you in that moment? Is that what you drew on?
Gosh, you titled it so well. State-level swimmer in the under-11s.
Yeah, talk yourself up.
Yeah, I was freestyling the 50 medley. What could be hard about a 30-plus pound suit soaking wet in a pond full of sea monsters? It was a blast, and I think that being on a set like that also was kind of a dream come true. Floating around in my suit and shooting things underwater and pretending to fight monsters. It's all kind of like a kid's dream. Let's save the rest for after dinner.
The kid at the heart of the space story, Grogu, affectionately known to Star Wars fans as Baby Yoda.
Did you use the Force to negotiate your contract? You did. Smart. Well, I know you like to snack, so I bought you a few things from Australia. Can I show you what I've got? Okay. I got you your own personalised Grogu Vegemite. This is called Rupu. Now don't worry, Grogu, this is a sweet treat. This isn't actually Rupu. Yeah, this is kangaroo jerky, crocodile jerky and emu jerky. Thumbs up?
Yes! Director Jon Favreau is like a proud parent to Grogu. He helped create the 34-centimetre tall alien.
A huge congrats for creating the cutest character that ever existed in Star Wars.
Thank you.
You've been working
Pedro
with Grogu.
Pascal, is that what you're talking about?
Well, a close second. I'm talking about the little guy, Grogu. You've been working with him for 8 years. What's
8
he
years.
like on set?
Well, you know, when you watch a kid grow up like that, you feel like you're part of the family. No, what's good about him is that he's evolves very slowly, and so we can develop that character over time. And he does develop, and I didn't know he'd be telling stories this long.
What are you waiting for?
Do you think you have an Aussie cousin? Do you think this is a bit similar to you? What do you think? The koala? I feel like you could be related.
Even Grogu's creator concedes there's a striking resemblance.
Oh, yes, of course. That might be a lawsuit. I may get sued by the koala community.
Given the Aussie connection, it's only fitting to ask a favour from a mate.
Now, Grogu, the reason I've got a cup of tea is because I once tried to do an Australian thing called a Tim Tam Slam.
It's like a straw and then push it off. Salad. Could the Force help reverse my past failures?
Perfect, it worked. I stuffed it up last time. That must have been... Did you maybe give you a little fist pump? I'm in love.
It was a little bit hesitant.
Yeah, like...
Let's go
Yeah. We do have a 5 metre sort of thing here.
Radius.
Usually, yeah, like a thing.
Yeah.
Good on yourself, great fun.
Yeah, love it. Well, all over Australia, elite budgies are being prepped, pampered and primed for battle as the nation's biggest bird showdown, the Australian National Budgerigar Titles, lands on the Gold Coast for its 50th anniversary.
Okay, finally we're back in Emdur territory. From first-class feathered arrivals to fierce judging and generations of family rivalry, this is serious budgie business where only the best birds in the nation will survive the judge's perch. And third-generation breeders and the first ever father and son duo to judge the national titles, Malcolm and Rob Randall, join us live. Good morning, guys. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, morning, Larry.
Same
Okay.
good to see you too, Larry.
It is the 50th showdown and it's all in your hands. Malcolm, who is feeling the pressure more, father or son, would you say?
Probably father, I would imagine. I think the son's pretty cool with it.
So I love that this is in the family. Rob, was it always sort of in your tea leaves that you would end up appreciating the beauty of a budgerigar like your dad does?
Yeah, I think it was destined upon me. You know, I was involved heavily going around shows as a young boy, so I was immersed in it from a very early age, and it's become a big part of my life ever since. So yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, you're not just judges; you're accomplished breeders, of course. What are you looking for? What makes the perfect show budgie?
Well, in terms of an exhibition bird, we're looking for the head feather to be quite long and wide. We're looking for a big, broad top end on that bird. You want to see a nice deep mask on that bird, ornamented by some nice throat spots as well. You want it to taper gracefully down through the perch, and you'd like to see them in really good feather condition. And obviously showmanship goes a long way into the bird performing to its best, so you want them to be showing too.
Okay, Malcolm.
I'd like to say I taper gracefully down to the perch.
Yeah, you do. It's something that everybody says here, particularly in the wardrobe department. Malcolm, we hear you had a pretty unexpected bush budgie incident earlier this year. This really got our interest. What happened?
Yeah, so we have a class for bush budgies, which are very, very small. So they put a drinker in the cage to, so they've got water when they're at shows, and the drinker had actually stretched the wires a little bit and the bird got out. So no one could figure out how the bird got out because the cage was still shut. So yeah, we had to catch it, put it back in and put some sticky tape between the wires so they couldn't get out again.
Is there any end to their talent?
Which was, yeah.
Not only can they tell
repairing cages,
amazing a budgie is, but catching as well.
Now, Rob, budgie breeding, it's a true intergenerational hobby, as we've seen here. But you've also said it's a great way for people to unwind and de-stress. I feel quite unstressed now just talking to you. Can you explain how it's good for your mental health too?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, budgies are a great little bird for keeping, you know, for people's mental health and well-being, just escaping the everyday stresses of work life or just life in general. You know, you get down the bird room of a morning or whenever you can, and you know, do your feeding regime, do your feed and your water, and you check out your breeding boxes and your pairs, see what pairs have got fertile eggs, any chicks that are emerging and hatching, and it's really good. You get down there and you really escape from it all, so it's great.
Malcolm, can I just ask lastly, how did you get into being so interested in budgies? Was it something that you dreamed of as a little boy?
My grandfather had them when I was very small, and our next door neighbour had them when I was 4. So, when I got to teenage age, I got back into them, and these people were the ones that said, let's go and show birds. So, been doing it ever since, but this weekend's the pinnacle for me, judging with my son. It's doesn't get much better.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's great. What an insight for us this morning. Thank you for talking to us, Malcolm and Rob. Appreciate your time.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. I've been smuggling budgies for years, but I've never looked into that.
Yeah, we should ask them to judge.
To judge the
other budgie smuggling. The other
competition.
budgie smuggling, yes.
Tapers towards the perch. Yeah. Okay, as one of the Feathers, as one of the co-owners of the iconic restaurant Mary's, Jake Smythe knows a thing or two about making the perfect, a juicy hamburger.
But now the Culinary King is looking for the best buns in the business.
You found them.
Yep, he's right. He's going next to judging the ultimate burger. Yes, judging the ultimate competition at the Food and Hospitality Week to show us how to make the best bacon burger. No joke, he's so excited about this. Jake Smythe from Mary's Burgers.
Howdy, how are you all?
Good.
Hello, mate.
Okay, so let's start with the perfect patty.
Sure.
Okay,
well,
what makes the perfect patty?
Ingredients. You can't polish its head, as they say. It's got to be great. And we've got.
I'm pretty sure you can't say that on morning TV.
Yes, standing over food.
Well, standard Mary's, isn't it? Look, the quality of produce is absolutely where you need to start. We have some of the best grass-fed beef in the world, in Australia. We get ours from the Gippsland. I'm sure that our competitors will be getting from their local communities and all the way around this beautiful land. But, you know, the buns might change from brioche. We use a milk bun here. The ingredients, what's inside the bun is really the star. You know, the bun, kind of, whether you like it sweet or not, we're looking for what's inside and a nice balance of everything.
So if you're going to so much trouble with our beautiful meat, and that is exceptional meat, is it okay to chuck a slice of cheese on there, or is that
absolutely. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. We've got a big stack here which we're going to throw on top.
But you've also, the cheese that you're using, it doesn't look like it's fancy cheese.
Look, we're a big believer in kind of blending between the gutter and the stars. You know, world-class beef, and then
it's exactly what they've done what they've done with the hosts here today.
Exactly. We've got to drag it down to our level that we're used to. Look, my first job was at McDonald's. Shout out Macca's Singleton. And I was taken there by my mum, dragged in at just before I turned 15. You've got a job interview, and this is the cheese from there. And I'm looking for those stories from our competitors, how it kind of relates to them. It's not just about flavour profile and technical brilliance, which will be marked, but also it is about their story and like how that translates to their customers, because at the end of the day, that's what keeps people coming back.
Okay, so we need now for you to show us how to assemble the burger.
Okay.
I know that's still cooking, but talk us through, even if it's not done, because you've got some done ones here.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got these ones here. This one's for you, Lazar. Got some bacon, the double.
Double.
This is a little simpler here. This is the Mary's Burger. We're doing the Mary's Burger with bacon. So we've got our lovely milk buns here. Our proprietary Mary's sauce.
Which I'll splash on. People are doing
it's like a tricked out mayonnaise, pickle, whole egg mayonnaise, pickles, bit of ketchup, bit of mustard.
Only at Mary's.
Only at Mary's.
Okay, so but if you're doing it at home, you could just blend pickles up and put it through the...
through your favourite mayo. Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of ketchup.
Did you steal that from McDonald's when you were working there?
This is just our play on a Big Mac sauce. Yes, absolutely.
Special sauce.
Yeah, our special sauce.
Yeah.
Cheese on top, obviously. We've got lettuce, some fresh tomato, a little bit of salt, pepper. Here we go. And some onion, just to give it a little bit of bite.
Oh, raw onion.
Absolutely. We just soak ours for about half an hour in water, just to take that acidic burn out of it. And then...
So basically what we've got here, and correct me if I'm wrong, is 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. Is that basically what we have here?
Don't you know it? With bacon that we cure and smoke.
Where he started, Singleton Macca's.
Oh, no.
Mate,
yeah,
shout
perfect.
out.
You've got to stop at Singleton Macca's on your way through. All right, wow.
Is yours?
Okay.
That's mine. Well, that's mine. That looks a bit hot.
Here you go. Okay, so you're judging the best burger competition,
Yep.
right?
At Food and Hospitality Week.
But what do you look for when it comes to a good burger?
In terms of the actual once it arrives in front of me, I'm looking for balance of flavour, simplicity of ingredients personally, and like I said, a little bit of character. Who are they? What are they kind of trying to present to us? What are they trying to tell their customers?
But I thought it was interesting because it was the only briefing note that Larry's read for the entire weekend.
And I think it paid off.
Is it amazing? Okay, because you've got a mouthful. So is it good?
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
You do want on creativity,
Absolutely.
but do you not want it to be too out there?
Look, I think within that, creativity is about balance as well. To just kind of run as far as you can until the rope breaks is never going to kind of build an audience. You need to be able to actually build something that's delicious at its core. And, pairing, fried chicken, bacon, beef patties, lamb patties, it's too much. But, I'm sure there'll be some wild and wacky items for me to try over the next couple of days.
No doubt.
I can't wait.
Mate, this is exactly how I want my burger to be. Well done.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
So great
Pleasure.
to have you. And you can find all the recipes over on our Instagram page, which is @CookingOn7, and you can catch the burger action for yourself. Head on down to the Sydney Food and Hospitality Week. It kicks off tomorrow. Awesome.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks.
Do you want to do this?
You are watching Weekend Sunrise. Our top stories this morning.
New this morning, catastrophic failure, major intelligence breakdown before Bondi's deadly massacre, how the alleged attackers fell through the cracks.
Breaking news, new allegations against Andrew Mountbatten Windsor involving a second woman as police investigations continue.
Happening now, inside the enhanced games, world-class athletes descend on Vegas competing with the help of banned substances.
New overnight, Great Scott.
For Scott Pendlebury. Good old Pendlebury forever.
Pendlebury makes history, breaking AFL's all-time games record.
Aspiration for all. Anthony Albanese gets emotional defending Labor's proposed tax reforms.
Plus, is it time to renovate or wait? Rising prices, tighter supplies, new advice for the best time to build.
And can't you hear the thunder? Men at Work takes centre stage on Weekend Sunrise this Sunday, the 24th of May, 2026.
Live from Studio 52, this is Weekend Sunrise with Larry Emdur and Monique Wright.
Welcome back. We've got some breaking news right now. Shots have been fired near the White House. Marley Hogan joins us now live in Washington for the very latest. Marley, what do we know?
Good morning. Well, this is a developing story. What I can tell you now is that we are just hearing that the lockdown that was placed on the White House has been lifted, but still you can see the National Guard, they were just around here getting people to move back from this area. So it's understood that those reported shots came from one block down this street on the corner adjacent to where the White House is. Now, inside the White House, there were a number of reporters out on the North Lawn. It was just about to be prime time when they were going to cross live into those bulletins when they could hear those apparent gunshots ring out. The Secret Service told them to get inside the press briefing room and shelter in place. Now, US President Donald Trump is believed to be inside the White House. We haven't heard any official comment from the White House at this stage. We do know that the Secret Service is looking into this, and the FBI has as well confirmed that they are on the ground trying to investigate more about these apparent shots. Now, the US President was inside the White House all day today. He has been working with his team, negotiating to try and find an end to the war with Iran. So he has been in there. We do understand that he is still in there. At this stage, that lockdown has been lifted, which we can take as an indication that the Secret Service and the FBI are making progress at determining exactly where those apparent shots came from and getting closer to an answer here on this.
All right, Marley Hogan for us there in Washington, D.C. Keep us up to date, won't you? We know that this has just happened. Just extraordinary pictures there that we're seeing of reporters that were in the middle of live bulletins when hearing those shots fired. What a terrifying incident, and not the first that we've seen this year. All right, let's get the rest of the day's story. Here's Sal.
Good morning. Police are investigating with former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor looking into new claims involving a second woman. Isabel Mullen is in London for us. Izzy, take us through, what do we know about this new claim?
Good morning. Well, this is a developing saga for former Prince Andrew, now accused of acting inappropriately towards a woman at the Royal Ascot races back in 2002. The scandal surrounding the King's brother only appearing to deepen, with reports that his late mother, the late Queen, was also present at that race meet. It was her Golden Jubilee year. It is unclear whether these allegations were made at the time or if they are new, but they are forming part of the police investigation into those allegations of misconduct in public office and sexual offences following his arrest back in February. The former Prince has always denied any wrongdoing.
All right, thanks very much. Isabel Mullen there. Meanwhile, police have shot a man dead in Moreton Bay, north of Brisbane. They were responding to a domestic violence incident at Narangba just after midnight. When officers arrived, they were confronted by a man who was making threats. They fired a shot, hitting the man, and commenced CPR at the scene, but he died. Queensland's Ethical Standards Command has been called in to investigate. We have pictures that have just come into the newsroom from Melbourne's west, where 2 cars were torched early this morning. Fire crews were called to the Royal Road in Braybrook. That was just after 3 a.m. That's where they found the blaze that had started spreading to a nearby home. 2 residents were inside that property, but they managed to escape uninjured. The cars have been completely destroyed. There has been some property damage as well, and police are currently hunting 3 arsonists wanted over the firebombing. There are new claims this morning that Australia's spy agency wasn't told about the overseas travel taken by the alleged Bondi attackers in the lead up to the massacre. Let's go live to Nats Levy in Bondi this morning. Nats, what did ASIO want to know exactly here?
Sally, ASIO wanted to know more. An investigation into the Bondi terror attack has revealed a breakdown in communications and intelligence sharing amongst our top security agencies here in Australia. Now, in 2019, the Akrams were interviewed by ASIO, and ASIO demanded that a travel alert be put in place for the pair, as well as their file re-investigated if they were known to associate with extremist organisations. Now, in 2022, the pair have travelled to Uzbekistan, the gateway to terrorist hotspot Afghanistan, where they've tried to cross over into by foot. This information, though known by AFP and our federal police, was not shared with ASIO or with New South Wales police, who are responsible for gun licences here in this state. There was also a breakdown in this alert. It seems that the alert was for the first port and not the final destination. Now, we know the pair travelled to Mindanao in southern Philippines, which is a terrorist hotspot, 1 month prior to the Bondi terror attack. This information also not shared. So clearly a breakdown in communications and intelligence sharing amongst our organisations that will be probed and questioned when the Royal Commission recommences tomorrow, Sally.
OK, thanks very much, Nats. Meanwhile, the hazardous surf conditions on the Gold and Sunshine Coast are expected to last a few more days. All Gold Coast beaches had to be closed yesterday. As you can see, it didn't stop some wave riders surfing some of the biggest waves of the year. They were up to 8.6 metres off North Stradbroke Island. Winds will ease today, but dangerous surf will linger for coming days. The controversial Enhanced Games kicks off today in Las Vegas, where doping is not only allowed, but it's encouraged. Joining us from the stadium is US correspondent Rob Scott. Hello to you, Rob. It is just about to get underway there.
Well, we are inside the purpose-built facility that tomorrow will host what is arguably the most controversial sports event in living memory. 42 athletes from around the world will compete in swimming, sprinting and weightlifting, 90% of them on performance-enhancing drugs, peptides, hormones, steroids. This whole thing was dreamed up by Australian entrepreneur Aaron D'Souza, who wanted to challenge what's humanly possible, to see how much faster and stronger an athlete can be. So with the backing of some billionaire investors, he came up with the Enhanced Games. And he's attracted some world-class competitors like James the Missile Magnuson. All of them offered a generous salary and the promise of a $1 million jackpot if they're able to break a world record. You're going to see records tumble?
Records are going to tumble. I'll put the over-unders in the swim meet on 3 records, so let's see how that goes.
The competition has been slammed by world sports bodies as dangerous and a bit of a sideshow, one that normalises doping and encourages cheating. But the organisers of the Games say the fight against doping is futile, and the current rules just drive the use of these drugs underground, making it even more dangerous, arguing the substances that these athletes are taking are all approved by America's Food and Drug Administration and given under strict medical supervision. It's highly divisive, but I can think of no better a place to host an event like this. Las Vegas, Sin City, the place known for pushing boundaries in the name of entertainment and profit.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Thanks for that, Rob Scott there. Meanwhile, history was made in the AFL last night with Collingwood Scott Pendlebury setting an all-time games record. Let's go live to Hope Wilson in Melbourne this morning. Hope, it was a big night, to say the least, for the Pies legend.
Sal, a moment that'll be etched in footy folklore. It was like a grand final, that moment when Scott Pendlebury came out on the ground to break the all-time AFL record, his 433rd game. We knew he would have a gold number 10 on the back of his jumper, but what was a surprise for the 90,000 fans inside the MCG yesterday was that every Pies player was also wearing gold on the back of their jumpers. It was textbook perfect for footy's Mr. Perfect. At the 10-minute mark, fans paused, they were on their feet celebrating Scott Pendlebury. They were waving those banners, SP 433. The milestone man remarked at the end of the game, 4 + 3 + 3 = 10. His jumper is number 10. And of course, just to top it all off, Collingwood won by 10 points. It has been an incredible career. He was drafted from Sale, a boy who was once focused on basketball, now 2 premierships under his belt and the all-time games record. Take a listen to him last night.
It's weird. It feels like it's been an eternity, but it's gone quick at the same time. And I thought I was playing basketball at one stage there when I threw the ball out of the pack, but the umpires are on me, so they should have let that one slip. But no, it's been a hell of a ride, and there's still more in the tank though.
And for those Pies fans who want to savour every moment for last night, because Scott Pendlebury, he just wants to get back to normal programming, well, you can actually bid on one of those 12 jumpers he wore last night. But those fans, Sal, will need very deep pockets. The bidding is currently at $81,625. That is a signed jumper, but just a note there on the website, it does say it comes unwashed. Sal?
Oh, well, with some extra, perfume. Thanks for that, Hope. How delightful indeed. All right, here's Larry with some more sport.
Yeah, because that music just makes everything right. In the AFL, Carlton remain unbeaten since they parted ways with Michael Voss. The Blues cruised past Port Adelaide by 34 points last night, sealing back-to-back wins under caretaker coach Josh Fraser. Geelong defeated the Swans by 27 points, handing Sydney their second loss of the season. Collingwood's 10-point win over West Coast was soured by a knee injury to forward Jamie Elliott. North Melbourne stunned Gold Coast on the siren by 6 points. Meantime, in the NRL, the Sea Eagles continue to soar under interim coach Kieran Foran. Finalists at the bottom of the table through 11 matches after a 30-12 defeat to the Warriors. And former Sydney FC manager Steve Corica has led Auckland FC to a maiden A-League crown. A deflected strike from distance was enough to seal a 1-0 win over the Sky Blues in last night's grand final. Corica leading the Kiwis to glory less than 3 years after he was sacked by Sydney. In just their second season, Auckland are the first non-Australian side to win the title. All right, let's check your weather now. Sam Payne is at the Sydney Balmoral Burn. Are you running, Sam, or are you just standing around?
Allegedly. I've put a few metres in, Larry, but I'm not running the whole thing. We've got some young boys coming up right now. The lactic acid is definitely burning in their legs. We're at about the 400-metre mark, heading to the 420 with some special clown doctors trying to blind me with their bubbles. How are you going this morning?
We're going very well, thank you.
And what are you guys doing here on the hill?
We are running. We're going to run.
They're parked up, but they're helping all these athletes up. We're going to try and catch up with some of these athletes, but first, let's take a look at the weather.
Weekend Sunrise weather brought to you by Zaraffa's Coffee. Start your morning with Australia's leading specialty coffee brand, celebrating 30 years. Your moment, your Zaraffa's.
Brisbane, possible showers 25. Sydney, shower 2, 22. Chance of rain for Canberra 18. Melbourne, cloudy 18. Hobart, mostly cloudy 18. Rain for Adelaide 18. Perth, mostly sunny 21. Sunny for Broome 29. Darwin, mostly sunny 31. And possible showers for Alice Springs 18. Now here are some brave young boys and girls. How we going, mate? How we going, legend? They can't even speak because they're running so hard. I'm already gassed. Look at this. How are you going? No, I'm getting nothing because everyone's straight in the pain chamber right now. Look at this. How are you, legend? We living it? We living it? Keep going, keep going. Let's go. I'll finish it with the man. I can't. We've gotten some amazing interviews mid-race. I probably wouldn't recommend hitting them up at about the 400-metre mark, but you can see it's a very high-energy day, all raising money for the Humpty Dumpty Foundation. It's a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, an incredible cause, Sam. Thank you very much for that. Right there at the Balmoral Burn.
OK, let's go back to that breaking news that's happening out of Washington, D.C. Shots have been fired near the White House. It's happened in the last hour. Marley Hogan joins us now live in Washington for the very latest. Marley, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning. Look, I just want to show you what's going on here behind me. Now, this is the corner where those shots were apparently coming from. And you can see now we've got the National Guard. There's Secret Service here in the middle. Reporters are now gathering around that police tape. And look, I just want to put this into context. When we talk about how close this has happened to the White House, just down the end of this block, that's where you enter. You go through the Secret Service checks and then you walk across and go into the White House. Now, these shots were fired. There are reports that there were dozens of shots that were heard by reporters inside the White House who were on the North Lawn at the time, just about to go into their primetime bulletins. When they heard those shots fired, the Secret Service ordered them all to run into the press briefing room and shelter in place. I think the best way to show you what that looked like is have a look at this reporter who was in the middle of filing a report.
Only for the two sides to remain far apart.
No.
Only for the two sides.
Now, this story is still developing, but we are hearing from our affiliates at CNN. They are now reporting that 2 people have been shot during an encounter with the Secret Service. There has been no official comment from the White House yet. We know that US President Donald Trump has been inside the White House all day. He's been working with his team, trying to negotiate a deal to end the war with Iran. It's understood that he is still inside the White House. It was on lockdown. That has now been lifted, and that indicates to us that the Secret Service, the FBI, the National Guard are now on top of this situation and are working closer on figuring out exactly what happened. Now, to be clear as well, this happened outside of the White House. At this stage, it's unclear if it had anything at all to do with that or what the motivation or any of that at this stage. It's all still being investigated. This has all happened really within the last 60 minutes or so.
Yes, we understand that it happened just after 6 p.m. local time. As you said, that there were so many news programs that were about to go to air for their 6 p.m. bulletins, and a lot of them there were reporting on an apparent deal which is supposedly close, or so says the President Donald Trump, on Iran. Now, he's saying that it is largely negotiated and just finalising the details. Of course, we haven't had full confirmation of that from Iran, but apparently it is including Lebanon, any kind of deal. However, a sticking point remains the nuclear arsenal.
Yeah, that is correct. And we know that US President Donald Trump was in the White House today, in the Oval Office, having those crucial negotiations. And then he put a message out on social media saying that it was largely negotiated, that they were still waiting for confirmation, finalised confirmation from the US and also from Iran. We haven't had that yet. Now, the US President did say that he would be making an announcement on that soon. However, that post came before all of this happened. And we have heard the US President before say that an announcement will come soon. And it really is not a clear timeline. So we just have to wait and see when the US President will give us more information on that. But there's definitely been hope today during those negotiations that we are getting close, or that the US is getting close to making a deal to end the war with Iran.
And Marley, just where we see those reporters ducking for cover there, you were talking at the end of the street and there is the Secret Service checkpoints and stuff. Are the reporters typically set up within a secure zone, or are they just out in the street, a very sort of public access area?
Where those videos are coming from, those White House reporters are inside on the North Lawn. So they're through the Secret Service checks. They are in the secure area of the White House. It's a garden area, big grassy lawn where all the reporters stand, line up with a shot back at the White House. And really it's about 5 to 10 metres from where the Oval Office is. So they would have had to make that run into the press briefing room, which is next to the Oval Office. So it would have been a very frightening time for them.
Yes, indeed. And of course, this just comes on the back of the shooting that happened inside the press ball, which also in Washington. Just not what you expect on a day at work. All right, Marley Hogan, keep us up to date, won't you? Thank you.
Thank you, Miley. Well, ahead for you here on Weekend Sunrise. We'll have more on that breaking news out of Washington, D.C., where shots have been fired right near the White House. We're back right after this.
Welcome back. We want to go back to that breaking news out of Washington, D.C., where we understand that dozens of shots have been fired about a block from the White House. We understand that the President, Donald Trump, was in the White House at the time and has been there all day. We understand that that lockdown has been lifted. We are hearing from our affiliates at CNN that after dozens of gunshots at rapid succession, 2 people have been shot and that lockdown has been lifted. We've got no news yet about any kind of motivation there. But what we know has been happening at the White House all day is the US President Donald Trump had earlier tweeted on Truth Social, his social media platform, that a deal between the US and Iran was inching closer, and really it was just about finalising. Let's be joined now by 7 News political editor Mark Riley, who's in Canberra for us. OK, Riles, let's go back to that deal that they've been working on. We've heard this before. We've seen this film before where we've heard that a deal is close and then we're not really getting there. Has our government reacted to it at all?
Not yet. I think, like governments around the world, we're waiting and seeing. And it is a little bit like the boy who cried wolf. Donald Trump's told us there is a deal, there's no deal, there's a deal, there's no deal. So everyone's sort of taking this with a grain of salt, although it does sound this time that's a little closer than in the previous times. And it is crucial that there is a deal, that this war does come to an end, because it's costing everyone, including Australians, in lots of ways. It's really causing havoc in our economy, in international trade, not just at the petrol Bowser, but now right through the economy into supermarket prices and elsewhere. And it's time for this to end. It's just a matter of whether they can come to some sort of an agreement, particularly on Iran's nuclear capabilities and its ambitions to develop nuclear weapons. That's the sticking point. And if it does include Lebanon, that is a very good thing, because that would mean that there's a more general peace, however tenuous it is, across that region. And the people of that region desperately need that peace, and people of the world.
Yes, and we're seeing that the pressure is mounting on Donald Trump just domestically.
Yeah, there's the intersection here, Mon, and that's absolutely what's happening here. Is an intersection of domestic politics and international geopolitics. But all politics is local. This is a guy who's going in now to midterm elections where his polling is horrific at the moment, and he's trying to win back the faith of the people. And he will, Donald Trump is a man who can commute the greatest disaster into, a great victory, and he will tell us that it was a wonderful victory in the Middle East whenever he does actually reach an agreement there. But you're right, the closer we get to those midterms, the more important it is for the Republican Party generally and Donald Trump and his personal standing for there to be a deal that sticks.
Yeah. And Riles, he said on many occasions, he kind of doesn't care what people think, right?
Yeah, that's right, which is part of his attraction, because a lot of people who vote for him don't care what people think either. And Donald Trump does things the Donald Trump way and gets away with it, Larry. But at the moment, the problem is that this just doesn't affect this individual or America. It's affecting the world. So there's a lot riding on this, including in Australia.
Yes, and opinions within the Republican Party, of course, are very much split on this, and support split. Let's just go back to that breaking news about these gunshots. dozens of gunshots that have been fired in Washington, D.C. a little over an hour ago. We're looking at some live pictures there of the White House, and that is the intersection, which happened about a block from the White House. So it was outside of that perimeter. Look, you know Washington, D.C. very well. Well, you know, there's going to be lots of extrapolations made until the Secret Service and authorities there can give us more information. But it was only last month, 3 weeks ago, that we saw at the White House Correspondents' Dinner a gunman open fire near a security checkpoint there. Tell us what you know about Washington, D.C. You were saying to us in the break that it can be a pretty lawless place, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, one of the most remarkable things about Washington, I've been there many, many times over the years, Mon, is that just in the shadows of the Congress is one of the most lawless parts of America, where the drug gangs rule the streets. So like a lot of American society, you can be 2 blocks away from safety and in the middle of gang warfare. Around the White House, though, not known for that. You know, there are around there commercial houses, a lot of government buildings. There are restaurants and cafes and what have you in that area. I know that corner very well. It is away from the White House. I guess we need to wait until we hear official word on whether this is something that happened near the White House or something that happened because of the White House and that it was a target. So gun crime on the streets of America is not unusual, but gun crime outside the White House certainly is.
All right, very much a developing story, and we'll keep a very close eye on this, Riles. Thank you for that. And we'll be back with more of Weekend Sunrise right after this.
Thanks for your company to breaking news this hour. A massive security operation is now unfolding in Washington, D.C. after gunshots were heard near the White House. Let's go back to Marley Hogan now, who is live for us. Marley, do we have any idea what's happened here?
Look, it's still very early on in this investigation. We're standing right now on the corner of where they believe those gunshots came from. Now, this is about 1 block from the White House, but inside the White House complex, that gunfire was heard by reporters inside there. And really, I just want to show you this clip because it's the best way to show our viewers what happened.
For the 2 sides to remain far apart.
No. Now, those reporters quickly got up and ran into the press briefing room following the direction of Secret Service agents. They were inside the White House complex, but those shots were believed to come from outside the White House complex here on this corner of 17th and Pennsylvania. I just want to show you what's going on behind us. There is National Guard making sure that people stay back while this investigation takes place. Police officers, we know the FBI are here. The Secret Service are on the scene as well. And we are hearing now that 2 people were shot during an encounter with the Secret Service. No update yet on the condition of those 2 people or who those 2 people are. As I mentioned, this is still very early on in the investigation. The White House was briefly placed into lockdown. US President Donald Trump was inside the White House complex. That lockdown has now been lifted, and we can take that as an indication that the FBI and the Secret Service feel that they are on top of this situation now and that it was safe to lift that lockdown.
Marley, what do you think will happen there next? When will we hear from someone? Will it be sort of one of those street-side press conferences, or will all be called into the press room? What do you think?
US President Donald Trump is usually very transparent with these issues. He often gets right up in front of the cameras and shares the information or starts talking and tells the public what he knows. We've seen him do that before in other situations where there has been gunshots involved, where he has gotten up quite quickly and given information. At this stage, that hasn't happened. We haven't seen him put anything on his Truth Social pages about this. We haven't had an official comment from the White House, but we can expect that that will come. I do think it's important to point out that this shooting happened near the White House, not inside the White House, and it's not clear exactly what the motivation for that shooting was or what the circumstances were around it. We just don't have that information at this stage.
Yeah, we're still in that point of just confusion. You can see the confusion on those reporters' faces where they're just trying to calculate what is actually going on there. Just a terrifying thing to happen on the streets of Washington, D.C. Let's talk about what's been happening during the day inside the White House. We know that the President President Donald Trump has been in there. He has released on social media saying that an agreement has been largely negotiated between the United States and Iran. What do we know about that?
Well, look, at this stage, the details about any reported apparent deal are still very limited. US President Donald Trump was inside the Oval Office today. We know that he had his advisors there. The Vice President at one stage was with him, and they were talking about these negotiations progressing. And then we got that update on Truth Social where the President said that it was largely negotiated, that there were some terms that were being finalised and then it would need to be agreed to by both the United States and Iran. So no confirmed deal at this stage, but certainly there has been talk here in Washington today that progress is being made. US President Donald Trump included in that same message on social media that he would share more details about that soon. Now, given the timing of that post was put up on social media before this shooting took place, so whether or not we're going to get more details about them both at some point, we just don't know yet.
Yes, all right, Marley, let us know, won't you? We know that among the terms, of course, is that critical reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, of course, critical for the entire world, here for us in Australia as well. And it remains to be a sticking point about the nuclear arsenal that Iran reportedly has, although Donald Trump didn't mention that in his post. We'll have more on that throughout the next half an hour. But right now, it's time for more news. Here's Sally.
Good morning. A man has been shot dead by police at Narangba, north of Brisbane. Officers were called to a domestic violence dispute just after midnight. When they arrived, they were confronted by a man armed with a gun and making threats. Officers fired a shot, striking him. They tried to revive him, but he died at the scene. An independent investigation is underway. 3 masked offenders have torched 2 cars outside a home in Melbourne. Emergency crews were called to a house in Braybrook earlier this morning. 2 cars have been set alight. Flames damaged a nearby property. The people inside that house weren't injured. Police are treating it as suspicious. Hazardous surf conditions continue along the Golden Sunshine Coast, with lifeguards urging people to take note of warnings. Let's go live to our reporter, Georgia Costi, on the Gold Coast today. Georgia, how are things looking at the moment?
Well, Sally, in our first cross, you pointed out how it was still blue and beautiful here on the Gold Coast, but I think you jinxed us because the weather has really taken a turn in the last hour or so, and that's why lifeguards have made the decision to shut all beaches once again for the second day in a row. We do still have a low in the Tasman Sea, and it's very static and slow moving, and that's why these rough conditions have continued to linger. Offshore, we saw waves overnight of 6 to 7 metres. Closer to shore, they were still decent, over 3 metres, but it is just so choppy and rough, and that's being stirred up by wind gusts of well over 35 knots. So definitely best for swimmers to stay out of the water today. And Sally, we do still expect this system to linger until about Tuesday, so it is likely they may be shut again tomorrow as well.
And on a personal note, from me to all of the Gold Coast residents, apologies for jinxing your weather. I didn't realise I was that powerful. It turns out I am.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Georgia. Well, speaking of weather, let's hope I don't jinx this too. Sam Payne's in Sydney at the Balmoral Burn this morning. Hello to you, Sam. How's it all going? You got the headband on?
I've got the headband on, and we've actually got Larry Emdur's age group running up the hill right now. If you want to take a look at these athletes, Larry. They're all been asking, where are you? Look at this. Oh, he's puffed. Philly Kearns is in this, the founder himself, obviously for the Humpty Dumpty Foundation, all raising money for a good cause. We're going to try and catch up with Kearnsy, but first, let's take a look at the weather.
Weekend Sunrise weather brought to you by Zaraffa's Coffee. Start your morning with Australia's leading specialty coffee brand, celebrating 30 years. Your moment, your Zaraffa's.
Brisbane, possible showers 25. Sydney, shower or 2, 22. Chance of rain for Canberra, 18. Melbourne, cloudy, 18. Hobart, mostly cloudy, 18. Rain for Adelaide, 18. Perth, mostly sunny, 21. Sunny for Broome, 29. Darwin, mostly sunny, 31. And possible showers for Alice Springs. I'm trying to find Kearnsy. Phil Kearns, the founder, he started this 25 years ago to raise money for children's hospitals all around the country. We're not going to be able to interview him because I think he's still walking, but I want to speak to an athlete. Maybe come with me quickly. Come to the pain chamber. This is what I'm calling it. Hello, guys. Sorry to bother you. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, ready to go again.
Ready to go again?
Can't wait.
How was the burn at the end? 420 metres?
That was incredible burn.
Ready to go again. That is an athlete, Larry. I don't know where you are. They've been asking about it, but it's a great morning, all raising money for a good cause.
Yeah, I've been sitting here eating hamburgers, but thank you, Sam. It's a great cause.
Literally has.
All right, we're going to have more on that breaking news out of Washington, D.C. for you right after this. Don't go away. And welcome back to Weekend Sunrise. Back to our breaking news this hour. A massive security operation is unfolding in Washington after gunshots were heard near the White House coming up to 7:45 at night in Washington.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, Marley Hogan is right there on the scene. Now, Marley, talk us through how far away this was from the White House.
Good morning, guys. All right, well, this is 1 block away from the White House where we are at the moment, and you can see this is where they believe that the suspected shooting took place. Now, to give people at home a bit of context, if you just walk 1 block in that direction, that's where you can actually enter into the White House. You go through the security checks there with the Secret Service, and then you walk along and go through another check with the Secret Service and enter the White House complex. Now, that is where we see those images coming out online of reporters who were just about to go into their prime time bulletins, and when they heard those gunshots ring out, we saw some of those reporters in the middle of their reports then hitting the ground, taking cover. Now, the Secret Service then told them to get into the White House press briefing room. That's about a 10 to 15 metre run or race from where they were reporting to get in there and shelter in place. Now, the White House was briefly placed into lockdown while the Secret Service, the FBI and the police quickly tried to figure out what went wrong. Now, that lockdown was lifted. It's now been lifted, and that means that people can come back in and out of the White House and move around. But just to be clear, the shooting took place a block away from the White House. Now, the fact that the Secret Service has lifted that lockdown, that indicates that they believe that they have the situation under control. And we are now hearing reports from both our affiliates, CNN and NBC, on the ground that 2 people have been shot during an encounter with the Secret Service. No details yet about who those people may have been. No indication yet or update yet on their condition. We also haven't heard an official comment from the White House either. Now, US President Donald Trump is inside the White House, was in there all day working with his team trying to negotiate an end to the war with Iran. We haven't heard any comment from the president yet either, but we do expect that we will hear something from him at some stage. Now, again, to be clear, it is very early in this investigation, and it's not known whether or not this shooting has anything to do with the White House at all, or if it was just close to where the White House is located.
Exactly. So we can't extrapolate too much, but can we just talk a little bit about the timeline? Because you spent a considerable amount of time in Washington, D.C., reporting for us there from the White House. So 2 weeks ago, on the outer perimeter again of the White House, a gunman was shot after firing at Secret Service there. There was a 15-year-old bystander who was grazed by a bullet. Then we go back just a week before that, at the end of last month, at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where a gunman opened fire near a security checkpoint there. Just what does this kind of violence and disorder do for a general feeling in Washington, D.C.?
Well, I think gun crime in the United States is not a new concept. It is something that people here are very familiar with. It's something that you have to become familiar with when you move to the United States. But I do think in this situation, when we talk about these politically motivated attacks, we don't know that that is what this one here today is. But as you mentioned, there was the one at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. There have been others in the past as well. It certainly indicates and suggests what the climate is like here in the United States at the moment when it comes to politically motivated violence, the kind of rhetoric that's been thrown around. After these events, we often hear the politicians, including Donald Trump, get up and say that we need to calm down some of the rhetoric that's being used, and then for a time it does, and then it kind of ramps back up again. But just to be very clear, at this stage, this shooting, it's not known what the motivation was.
Yeah, OK. Marley Hogan, thank you. We'll come back to you, and we've got the CEO of the US Studies Centre, Michael Green, standing by for us, so we will chat with him after the break. We'll be back with more just after this. We're just hearing gunshots there of some breaking news that we've been covering this morning out of Washington, D.C. Shots have been fired about a block from the White House.
We're following this very closely. It comes within hours after Donald Trump announced that a deal with Iran is, in fact, getting closer. Let's bring in the CEO of the US Study Centre, Dr. Mike Green. Mike, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Let's talk about this incident in Washington, D.C. You worked there, served on the staff of the National Security Council at the White House from 2001 to 2005. Where does your head go when you hear this headline, shots fired, White House?
Well, it's happened before, and at some point it will happen again. And if I were on the inside, I wouldn't be too concerned. It looks like a house with a lawn and easy access to that fence, but the number of uniformed Secret Service on the public street outside and the number of agents and tactical teams literally on the roof and in the bushes and all around the grounds mean that this gunman, it appears there was one gunman, would have had no chance of getting inside, or if he or she did, not very far. So no danger to the staff or the president, although it seems there are some reports there was somebody was hurt or killed, and reporters, staff, tourists would have been in the area.
Yes, indeed. It's a very busy intersection there in Washington, D.C. Let's talk about the deal that, if we listen to President Donald Trump, is imminent between the US and Iran, and that includes the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. We've heard this before.
Yeah, I mean, the president has said we're on the verge of resuming military attacks and we're at the cusp of a major agreement. I've lost track how many times. He clearly wants to get some kind of negotiated end to but he has a tough problem. The Iranians have been hurt badly, seriously degrade their weapons. They cannot use cell phones. They cannot export oil or gas. So they have some serious pain, but they don't think they're losing, and they think the world economy is losing. So that's not the right condition for an easy negotiated settlement. And what the president has described as the outline of a settlement. And I've been negotiating these things, and that means this is not over in my view, but it may calm things down.
Yes, well, let's hope so. OK, the CEO of the US Study Centre, Michael Green, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. Weekend Sunrise back in just a tick.
It felt like you'd given up on me.
I'd never give up on you.
They're about to need each other.
And nothing will ever change that.
More than ever. Because one of them will be.
You're looking at shots there of Washington, D.C., where the sound of gunfire has forced the Secret Service to clear the north lawn of the White House. This has happened on Saturday evening there at about 6 p.m. local time. We understand there are reports, our affiliates CNN and NBC reporting that 2 people have been shot. It happened about a block from the White House, so outside that security zone. Lots of high-profile pictures of reporters that were on that north lawn just about to issue all of their nightly news reports and had to flee in a hurry. We'll have more reports on that throughout the day on 7 News and 7 Plus.